everybody, and welcome back to day 2 of RTE 2021. We hope you really enjoyed the sessions yesterday. I know I had a great time. Really enjoyed the rap session with Harry Mack. I thought that was incredible. I don't know how that guy can do that. That was really, really cool. And I just love where I'm going with my understanding of what RTE is and how it can be used, and just broaden and enlighten ourselves into how it's going to be changing the way we work, live, and play in the future. This session, the Startup Battleground, is going to be a startup pitch competition. These startups, these 9 finalists who are going to be pitching today, are all building startups based on an RTE platform. Their solutions are rooted in what RTE can enable. We launched this about 2 months ago and started asking everybody to apply. We took in triple digits of applications and pitch submissions. We boiled this down to 30. We took it to our broader group of judges, and we have now boiled it down to the top 9. We have 3 from the Emea region, we have 3 from the APAC region, and we have 3 representing the Americas. And we have a judge, an investor judge, a VC judge coming from APAC, Emea, and Americas as well. So here's how things are going to run. I'm going to introduce the judges, and then we're going to get into the pitches. Each startup is going to come up. They're going to present their investor deck and pitch for up to 5 minutes. We will then ask each of the judges for some of their thoughts, some of their advice. We want the audience to be able to see inside the brain of the VC, and what are they seeing, what are they hearing, what are they feeling when they see these pitches, and what kind of thoughts are going through their brain. It will not be a Q&A. It will just be a discovery of what they thought about the pitch, okay? The scoring will happen later, okay? What we're going to be looking for, just so the audience knows, is we're looking for a great problem to solve, an opportunity to build a business around it, a path to success, and a very unique understanding and use case of how RTE is enabling their solution, all right? The prizes. There's going to be an audience award. So throughout this competition, we're going to keep reminding you to stick around until we have a panel discussion led by my colleague, Tony Blank, who's going to be coming in and doing a panel discussion with the 9 finalists while myself and the judges are backstage deliberating on the winners. Okay. At that point, there will be a poll. The audience will be able to vote for who they thought should win the grand prize. Okay. And that grand prize is $10,000 cash, okay? The audience award winner will receive a $500 cash prize. Third place will win $1,500 cash prize. And second place will win $3,000 grand prize, cash prize. So please don't forget, stick around until the end so that you can vote for your favorite startup, all right? Now, all of this is being brought to you by the Student and Startup programs here at Agora, where any startup who wants to apply can jump in, go to agora.io/startup, and they can apply and receive up to 1 million minutes of free Agora to build your startup. All right. So just want to mention that. That's what's being brought to you. Okay, let's get to the judges. First up, Parul Madan. Parul is a multi-time founder, angel investor, advisor to startups, has launched accelerator programs in the past, and with these learnings founded DoDash, okay? DoDash is building AI and data-driven SaaS toolbox for investors, ESOs, and founders to successfully partner with each other with higher efficacy and speed, leading up to a 40% gain. As an active early-stage investor, she has invested in 40-plus startups worldwide, and as a founder has led companies to successful exits. She has worked in the past with corporates like Ericsson, HP, and German Telecom. She is an engineer and an alumni of MIT Sloan. Welcome, Parul.
Great to be here, Todd. Really excited to see the startup pitches and see who's going to be the winner tonight. So
I know, this is exciting. Okay, let me introduce Kathleen. Kathleen Forte. Kathleen is a partner at Lightspeed Ventures focused on business development and capital formation. Prior to joining Lightspeed in 2019, Kathleen spent 4 years at SVB Capital, the investment arm of Silicon Valley Bank, as a vice president leading investor relations and fundraising for their venture program. Kathleen also spent time in New York and Hong Kong in similar roles for Clearwater Capital and ADM Capital. Kathleen graduated with a BSc in marketing from Rutgers University. Welcome, Kathleen.
Thanks. It's great to be here. Good morning, everyone. I look forward to hearing from you. And I'm glad that there's a global perspective today.
Yeah, us too, which means it's morning for me. I'm on the West Coast. It could already be afternoon and it could already be evening. And for somebody like William Balbin, it will be late at night already. Our third judge, William Balbin. William is a general partner where he is the managing director of Chinaccelerator, SOSV's managing general partner at SOSV, and managing director of Chinaccelerator, SOSV's global internet program and the first startup development program to launch in Asia. He is the managing director of Mox, a mobile-focused program with 160 million smartphone users on its platform. William joined SOSV from Singtel Innovate Ventures, where he was managing director supporting China investments. Previously, William was a partner at SoftBank China and India Holdings, a venture capital firm backed by SoftBank and Cisco, leading investments in China and Southeast Asia. William spent 11 years as an equity research analyst, most recently with Deutsche Bank, where he was responsible for internet and telecom equipment in Asia and China technology, media, and telecom. He currently sits on the boards of Fable, ScanTrust, Goama, Boost Capital, Italki, and SRT, and organizations including Music Matters, TechieZoo, US China Strong, and Blair Academy. He holds a Bachelor of Arts from the Bowdoin College. I believe is out in New York, New Jersey, Maine. William, welcome to the show.
Yeah, Maine. Thanks for having me. Really appreciate your time.
You bet, man. I know it's been a super long day for you. Yeah, super long day for William. But he's here, he's hanging out, and really appreciate that. Okay, well, without further ado, I think we should jump into what we're all here for. All right. So first up, I'm going to bring up Rahul Bajaj from Digital Darwin. Rahul.
Hi, greetings. Let me ask that who in this room has had experience with rehabilitation post-injury or hospitalization, or may have stiff back or muscles, and that really turns a hardworking person into a hardly working person. Something like Lucy, who met with an accident 6 weeks back and has been visiting her physiotherapist since. And as her therapy stretches longer, the inconvenience of in-person visits increases. This reduces her perseverance to continue, and the increase in the financial burden leads her experience to turn from better to bitter. Hi, Digital Darwin presents Physio AI, a comprehensive digital joint and muscle therapy clinic on cloud, where we are defining the Physiotherapy 2.0 rules by introducing the FeeBot. The FeeBot is a computer vision collaborative cobot for physiotherapists that can not only see people, but can also assess joints and angles simultaneously, measuring muscle flexibility and strength in real time. It can work in supervised mode and unsupervised mode and assist physiotherapists and be a companion coach or a therapist for the patients. Together with the physiotherapists, the FeeBot creates a perfect phygital framework, seamlessly integrating on-site and remote physiotherapy touchpoints, providing the flexibility of anytime, anywhere, any mode therapy for the patients. But no phygital framework is complete without the right RTE. Hence, powered by Agora, we've created the only known tele-FeeBot specifically designed for physiotherapists, which provides them with digital real-time tools for measuring the KPIs that are required while delivering the therapies. And this has really opened a lot of possibilities for the physiotherapists, which they are not getting from off-the-shelf RTE solutions. Though this solution has been created keeping India in mind, but the solution is applicable to all the underserved markets with deep mobile smartphone penetrations. We believe that all these countries can really leapfrog using this technology. In India, though, there are 50,000 trained therapists that run and have 95% of these run independent single clinic operations. On an average, 350,000 sessions happen daily in India for physiotherapy, but negligible of them get covered by insurance because these are considered non-evidence based. And this is something that we are trying to change here. Well, we do not have any published startup which is offering a real-time digital tool for physiotherapists, but there are certain startups who are corporatizing therapy but are using a variant of the traditional method. The brick and mortar services, we really do not consider them to be our competitors because we are collaborating with them, in fact, enabling them and enhancing their capabilities. Our business model is to create one of the largest network of therapists by onboarding individual practitioners and empowering them with tools and tangible benefits and opportunities that they as individuals are challenged to get. We are looking at revenue share for only the additional revenue that we bring to these particular physiotherapists. In future, we'd be adding orthopedic consultation, occupational therapists, neuro and mental health, so that this really becomes a comprehensive pain management clinic on cloud. We are also tapping into the swelling corporate wellness budget, which is at $3 billion as of now and is increasing at a 20% CAGR. We are a highly differentiated platform with 3 core IPs in the filing. Scalable by design because we provide one-to-many therapies for a physiotherapist, and we do not need the patients to invest in body markers. Currently, 10 therapists are validating this product on their patients, and by the end of this financial year, we'd be having 42 therapists. And by 2024 mid, we will be having 300 therapists performing 450,000 therapies annually on the platform. Just in case, if you're thinking that does digital therapy really work, a study done by Stanford last year on 10,000 patients proved that the adherence level really increases from 3 to 9.2 with substantial clinical outcomes, and 2 out of 3 patients, in fact, avoiding surgeries altogether. We have a stellar founding team with Dr. Arun, a trained physiotherapist and a PhD scholar, having written a number of international papers on impairments of joints. Bhushan is a technocrat. Gagan is a computer scientist and a PhD scholar in computer vision, has 4 patents in his name on AI and healthcare. And I have been part of HIMSS working group on patient-centric solutions and have led transformation for a number of hospitals and high-tech companies. We've got mentors who are from high-tech and healthcare both. So who amongst you is ready to say that no pain is really all gain? Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Rahul. That was great. Digital claps, golf claps for him. Good job, buddy. I know how hard that is. From doing a lot of digital events and where we are now, people have that fear of public speaking. I don't think it gets all that much easier just being on camera. So well done. Well done. All right. Let's go to the judges for some feedback. Parul, maybe I'll come to you first, and maybe a couple of minutes of your thoughts and feedback on the Digital Darwin pitch, please.
I think the idea is awesome. Pain management is definitely a problem. It's a lifestyle problem for today. I would be curious to know, how are the insurance requirements in a mature geography like Germany or in Europe? How would that be handled by this tool for the compliance standpoint? Because we took the use case of India in this way, and if that is what the differentiator is and changing, then how would that be applicable in Europe? The second thing was about the corporate market. So what is the offering to the corporates and what is the price point? And we saw some numbers by 2024, how many therapies will be done, but what would be the revenue by that time? What is the projected revenue by that time? So I'd be curious to know about that.
All right, good. Thank you very much. Yeah, and just a reminder to everybody, we're not doing a specific Q&A, but we are, trying to tease out as much of what they thought, what they saw, what they heard, and just everything that they want to mention around the deck. Again, trying to help our audience understand more about what VCs see and understand and hear and feel when they see presentations like this. So, Kathleen, over to you.
Yeah, I think virtual care, which ties into pain management, is huge and only accelerated throughout COVID. And I can just see a use case where you could track a patient's progress on how they're doing throughout years to come, which I think is really important. And not only just meeting with a physio, but then also the exercises that have to be done in between meeting with the physio. And I think that's part of the hardest part, right? Because I do have a father who is now in his 70s and is doing the exact same thing with his back, with his shoulder, with his knee. And the most important part is just also tracking the exercise piece of that. So I think from that perspective, that's pretty interesting. I think size and scale of market, and then also just keeping this patient information and then the compliance and the confidentiality of that. But I do think it's a very interesting market.
Great. Thank you very, very much for that. William, you've been doing this a very, very long time. I know you have some thoughts. And again, don't be afraid to counsel your thoughts to almost teaching and advice to the audience as well about what we're seeing and what we think.
Yeah, no. So, it's a brief pitch, right? So you don't have that much time. And this is probably going to be true for all the people who are presenting today. I'm trying to communicate every little single thing that you do. But you do need to be, quite clear about the problem that you're solving. And so I think it needs to probably be a little bit clearer. Are you solving the therapist problem? Are you solving the patient's problem? No, they both have problems, but who's in the end paying, or who's got the greatest pain, so to speak. And so when you're getting in there, you've got a solution up. You're only engaging with 10 therapists. Why do they love you? And this is for every single person pitching out there. What are the things that you can do better than anybody else? It kind of came through a little bit where you're helping the patient, with automated care. You're sort of helping the therapist. But again, you want to try and focus on one or the other. And then I guess the last thing is where is the kind of money coming from? Are you trying to increase the earnings of the therapist, or you mentioned you're trying to engage the patient more, and then you also mentioned the insurance company, which then comes back to money, both for the patient and for the therapist. So in a very short pitch, I would just focus it down. Hopefully that helps. Thanks.
All right. Brilliant. Thank you very much. Okay, we're going to keep it going. Up next, Divyansh, please take the stage and present Embley.
Hello everyone, my name is Divyansh and I'm the founder of an edtech startup, Embley. With COVID-19 came a lot of problems that were never experienced before, and a clear disruption and chaos is still evident in the Indian education world. Teachers, coaching institutes and colleges were suddenly forced to make a shift to online, and to stay relevant, they started using platforms like Zoom, Google Meet, etc., which are primarily made for the corporate world. This unplanned shift brought many problems, like teachers and students spending a lot of time juggling between multiple applications to do live classes, share notes, fetch homework, and other classroom activities. One of the biggest pain points for teachers today is to ensure discipline and decorum during live classes, and they feel completely helpless when it comes to monitoring large number of students during online sessions. Other important problems like unwanted, unauthentic students entering into the sessions and insulting the teachers needs a very urgent solution. Especially female teachers in India feels very uncomfortable and reluctant to take online classes. All this and many other problems are degrading the quality of online education, and the situation demands an education first platform which is built ground up, addressing the pain points of more than 300 million students and teachers in India. So instead of offering any solution in a hurry, we personally spoke to 500 teachers and students, did multiple surveys nationwide to understand and validate how the perfect solution should be. We built EdV with a single goal in mind, to transform the experience and quality of online education. Our platform offers live interactive classes with a lot of novel education-centric features. We use facial recognition technology to allow only authentic students into the classroom. To address the problem of monitoring students' attention and presence during the online sessions, we are using artificial intelligence technology, and our platform automatically informs the teacher when their students are distracted or totally away from the screen. Subtle gamifications, along with other reward systems, are used in our platform to keep students engaged. We are using digital watermarking to discourage piracy of teacher-generated content. All this, along with 100% control of the classroom in the hands of the teacher, is what gives our company an edge over the other players. So we are currently focused to serve two huge market segments in India. First being the private tutors and coaching institutes, and second being the colleges, wherein more than 27 million students and teachers are desperately looking for a solution. So these two segments alone constitutes $1 billion market opportunity in India alone. We currently have a freemium model, but going forward, we would be charging money from coaching institutes and colleges as well. So our first few teachers and early adopters of our platform helped us understand that online teaching is way beyond just streaming an audio or a video. It is more about how you can empower your teacher to take a very productive, collaborative lecture with 100% control of the classroom. Corporate meeting platforms and other Indian players like Teachment, ClassPlus don't offer such controls as are required when you are a teacher and you have to discipline a class from a distance. We launched 2 months back and we currently have 1,300 users on our platform. We haven't spent a single penny to acquire these 1,300 users. We have a very detailed digital strategies in place to create awareness and consideration about our product going forward. So they say it takes a village to build a great company, and I'm so fortunate and blessed to have great co-founders and team members with me. I have an experience of 2 years in transaction advisory services. I used to work with Grant Thornton before I started EdV, and I am a chartered accountant by profession. My second co-founder, Gurudeep, has an experience of 11 years in engineering, technology, and new product initiatives. He also has rich exposure to advanced cryptography and artificial intelligence technology. My second co-founder and CTO, Amandeep, has an experience of approximately 8 years. He was in the founding team of Grofers, which is a very popular Indian online grocery application. Grofers is already touching a valuation of $1 billion. So we are angel funded and we are looking forward to raise a pre-seed round as well. India being flooded with content companies, at EdV, we are not at all focused to create any content of our own, as we build rich insights through the live classes and other classroom activities like evaluations, assessments, other things. Going forward, we would be recommending very targeted, actionable points to our teachers and students so that their performances can be improved. All this is just the beginning, and we have a lot more planned up. Hybrid learning is the future, and at EdV, we have all the aspirations to go global. I invite you all to join us in this meaningful and rewarding journey. And please let me know through your feedbacks and comments, are we building a kind of company you would like to support and put forward your word of mouth? Thank you so much, and I wish you a great day ahead.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Divyansh. I am trying to get back to the main room, but I cannot. All right, let's start with Kathleen. Kathleen, would you mind going first?
Sure. Well, I mean, we've invested in a couple of, I would call it collaboration type tools, which is going beyond that next derivative or that next generation of what I would say Zoom is. And it sounds like if there's an interface that's focused on student learning, it could be interesting and useful. I don't really know how big a piracy problem is, but I'm assuming it's more in the university college education. So there could be some sort of interface to manage what that would look like. Then not only just coming out of COVID where there's classrooms, but then also how do you take that to further broaden out your addressable market to do online education or online classes where maybe there's dispersed learning, but you really want to get into a hot teacher or a hot lecture and be able to utilize that. And so I guess just my only thing is just understanding what that interface is and how is that better than, I mean, I knew you listed that, but just really making sure that that's more dynamic than what you would see in just the Zoom.
Okay, great. Thanks very much. And you guys have more opportunity. We actually have a lot of time built in for startups and some of the pitch feedback and stuff like that. So for our judges, feel free to go a little bit longer if you like, and if you have the material to do so. William, why don't we jump over to you now?
Yeah. So one of the challenges with doing real-time visual student analysis is what we've seen happen in China, where you're doing both analysis of students who are not paying attention and also students who visually are causing trouble. And this was used by institutes to actually fire teachers because they were not interested in enough to like keep the attention of the students. It was also used to penalize automatically students for not paying attention. So there's a massive backlash against this, both from the students, from the parents, and of course from the teachers who are getting fired because they're being measured in this way. So I'd keep that in mind as you roll this out. On the one hand, technology is definitely beneficial when it comes to education, but on the other hand, you have to be careful of unintended consequences here.
All right, great. Thank you very much. And Parul, we'll come to you.
I think it's been very well summarized by Kathleen and William on the things about the uptake from a future standpoint, and I guess I could just provide some input in terms of just giving a preview of what's coming beyond than just playing the videos and checking through the things. If there are some other mechanics in terms of instructor-led design or interaction within the platform, so that kind of stands apart from just a video-based learning platform. And also what kind of insights that students and teachers can gain for the benefit, that would make it slightly more appealing and transparent from a pitching standpoint. But overall, I would say it's a great pitch and a great initiative, and just highlighting a little bit more on the differentiation would make it a little bit more appealing.
Excellent. Thank you, Parul. And thank you, Divyansh. Well done.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you, Todd.
we're going to move it over. We're going to move over to Ali. All right, so Ali, why don't you come on stage? Ali's presenting Gramophone. So Ali, when you're ready, take it away.
Thank you, Todd. Hopefully you can hear me okay. Hey, everyone. I'm Ali. I'm the founder of Gramophone. I'm an entrepreneur by day, but I'm a musician by night. And a few years ago, I moved to San Francisco, and I wanted to continue to play music to my fans. I realized that there were a lot of platforms out there that I could use, Twitch, Mixcloud, Facebook. But streaming high-quality audio to those platforms was expensive, it was difficult, and it took a lot of time. That's when I realized that this is a serious billion-dollar problem. When I dug a little bit deeper into it, I realized to stream high-quality audio, I needed to hack together 3 different solutions. I needed to use something like Audio Hijack, which costs $99, Loopback so I can hear the audio, and OBS Studio, which is an open source product, but an absolute nightmare to use. This process is really made for video gamers to stream video to Twitch, not at all for musicians. And I think we had a judge on stage today who has an interest in music. Perhaps you might even be versed in this problem. Literally every single major platform requires these 3 different solutions to be able to stream audio. And it causes a lot of pain for a lot of creators all around the world. They've already demonstrated that they're willing to pay, but there are no other alternatives that are cheaper, faster, or easier to use. And there is a huge market potential, not just for the creators, but for customers such as SoundCloud and AudioMac, platforms who want to enter the live stream space, but they need an easy, one-stop audio-only solution to be able to enter it. We've been in discussions with SoundCloud and AudioMac already, They've already told us that they want to license our product under a SaaS model. They need a solution, as do many, many other music streaming apps and platforms around the world. Why now? Well, as many of you might have seen in the last year, 2 years, audio only has seen a huge growth. Platforms like Clubhouse, Locker Room, which I think recently was acquired by Spotify, has shown audio only is a great medium. Since the pandemic, virtual live music shows have shown themselves to be really successful. Dua Lipa's concert and Billie Eilish's concert had huge numbers and made a lot of revenue. And labels and music streaming platforms are now realizing that, hey, wait a second, 90% of recorded music sales is from streaming, but less than 1% of live music sales comes from streaming. But now we have the technology to be able to do it. Consumers are demanding high fidelity audio. Near real-time streaming is now possible. Great companies such as Agora are making it possible. And mobile streaming dominates the ecosystem. There's been a rise in independent musicians and creators. There's been a rise of global fan bases. You can have a rapper in Nigeria who has a diaspora of fans who are Nigerian all around the world, especially in developing markets. And there's been a rise in at-home experiences, but nobody wants to do Zoom anymore. We've been working in this space for the last 4 years. We don't actually have PhDs, but I reckon we could probably write a doctorate on this space. I have a background working at Google. Before that, I was at Ernst & Young. So I have a little bit of accounting experience. I did my graduate degree in law, and I'm a DJ by passion. Graham, who's our CTO, he's a full stack engineer based in Silicon Valley. He's been the lead engineer in a bunch of different startups, and he's a jazz pianist as well. That's us after like a 12-hour hackathon in Berlin. I have a lot more white hairs in my beard than I do back then, but totally worth it. We have a rock star team around us. This is probably the slide with the most text, just because this is the most important part of our company. We have engineers with 20 years of experience in audio development. We have engineers who have already sold their companies. We have a really solid team focused on this problem. And we have a great team of advisors around us. Scott Cohen is a chief innovation officer at Warner Music. He built The Orchard, which he sold to Sony. Matthew Daniel is a VP at NetEase at China. He also founded a company and sold it. Martin Gold also founded a company and sold it. He's now at Spotify. And Cliff Flouet is our legal counsel. Haven't even told you about our solution. Gramophone is a breakthrough streaming solution. It's an all-in-one application. It does all three of those jobs that I mentioned in a single app. It takes 90% less time to set up, and it's free for creators to use. We launched our first version in March 2020. It streamed directly from applications such as GarageBand. Our users said, hey, we actually want to stream to other platforms. That's when we pivoted to becoming a middleware application. And these screenshots show a user streaming to Bandcamp. And now we've released our third iteration, which streams from any audio source. You can stream audio from iTunes, you can even podcast, and Gramophone streams it out to any platform. I've actually been streaming whilst I've been pitching here. This is the Gramophone application, and I'm streaming my audio to Mixcloud. If I go over and play some music on iTunes, I'm now picking up audio and streaming that to iTunes as well, to Mixcloud as well. If I stop streaming here, I'll give you a little bit of a sneak preview of what our business model is, which is a middleware application to stream to other platforms. We've got integrations into Bandcamp, Mixcloud, Twitch, and YouTube. They're done. That was our first kind of go-to-market. They're done. Our real focus is disrupting the whole music streaming ecosystem. We want to stream to places like Spotify, like JioSaavn in India, like Boomplay in Nigeria. Using a SaaS model, we're already in discussions with 4 major streaming platforms. We are the critical middleware tool that streams high-quality audio to those places. Similarly, we want to transform gaming, social media, and VR. All of these new platforms that are created every day, Gramophone can stream high-quality audio to those endpoints. This is a huge opportunity to transform the entertainment industry. And we want to do that with Agora. We're part of the startup program. We're experimenting with their RTN architecture to improve our performance. And we're keen to go to market with a Gramophone cross Agora offering to help companies like a SoundCloud who want to use Gramophone, who want to offer live audio, but they don't have the back end to do so. And I think that's a perfect place for us to partner with Agora. Our cap table is split between us two co-founders. We're raising $500,000 for 10% equity. And the focus of that funding will be to deliver those platform integrations to prove our SaaS model and to focus in emerging markets by building a Windows application and a mobile application where in Nigeria and India, people are Windows first or mobile first. That's what we want to prove before we raise again. I know I'm probably way over. My last slide is our problem again. We are obsessed with this problem. All of these platforms exist. Streaming high quality audio to them is really difficult. We're on our path, and with your support, we can really optimize our solution to solve this billion-dollar problem. Thank you.
All right. Great job, Ali. Okay, virtual golf claps again for you, buddy. Yeah, really, really well done. Really well done. Okay, so I know I'm just kind of babbling a little bit just to give our judges a little bit of time to collect their thoughts after having seen that. But William, you've done this 1,000 times before. I've sat beside you sometimes doing this. Why don't we go to you first, your thoughts on Gramophone?
Yeah, cool. So, no, it's a good pitch. And then I think the problem is quite clear. But how big a problem is it? You said it's worth billions. You might want to, because as you're rolling it out, you've got a couple of those initial partners or initial integrations. How much time are people saving, or how much more money are they earning? Or when you talk to them, like, what are they willing? Are they willing to give you like a kidney in order to get on your platform? So, how exactly is it worth it to the artist, or is it actually more worth it to the platforms? So I think it's definitely, is this like a vitamin or a vaccine, right? So does this give you like a better performance, or does this solve a problem that will kill you? So I would dig into that a little bit. And thank you so much.
Nice. All right. Thank you. Okay, Parul, over to you. What did you think? What did you like? What didn't you like? What did you think could be improved?
I think if I would have received this as a leave behind pitch deck, that would have been very confusing if Ali wasn't talking. So I would definitely suggest he should slightly improve the pitch. And I think probably just hone on to the problem, just be very specific. Who is the user who's going to be using it, like specifically? Because after he narrated the problem, I just saw the partnerships with SoundCloud, and that kind of was a bit confusing. And I just wanted to get to the solution first. So obviously the team is great. They have rounded it up with their advisors as well. So that's fantastic. Perhaps that could come later on. If you're talking about problem and really excite the people with the problem, then talk about the solution and then probably wrap it up later on and just keep on hammering that with some differentiation points and talking about what is it that is the real pain out there and how do you solve for it.
Awesome. Okay, thanks very much. And William, we just finished the 3 pitches from APAC. And given that you are virtually, an APAC expert. After all your time, I read your bio. We all understand the background and the tenure that you've had in the space there. Would you mind rattling off a little bit for us and just taking the microphone for a second and talking to us about what's happening in APAC, what amazing technologies are coming there, what would the rest of the world want to pay attention to with what's going on in the Asia Pacific region? Anything about startups and funding and where you're seeing growth, any of that kind of stuff, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, sure. So SOSV, we're early stage investor. Actually, PitchBook just named us Q2 number 2 most active VC and media in the world, and number 3 most active VC in the world. So I lead the media investment internet software globally. And, we're doing some interesting things. I think the first one, which is a global phenomenon, maybe it's bigger in Asia because Asia is the number 1 game market in the world. And in a bunch of different areas, like leading in media is NFTs. So we've always had a problem with creators getting shafted by big media, by big internet, by everybody else. So there is an opportunity, we believe, for NFTs to really open it up, unlock earnings for creators. But the problem is that there's no real standards, that the rights associated with various NFTs are gone. And like a lot of there's a giant head, a very small shoulder, and then the tail is like, who the hell knows where the tail is? So we invested in a company called Superworld, which is a place where hopefully people can show off. My father actually made a living as an artist. It's very difficult to put somebody through private school in New Jersey making pottery, but he managed to do it. I think we want to try and help artists globally to make a living through their creations. And the number one, we saw this Clubhouse powered by Agora, but the number one driver of creator earnings is that their audience, their buyers, the people who consume and purchase those artworks from those creators have a platform to really promote, right? To really get up there and say, I support this artist. This is something a beautiful creation. And with Superworld, we're trying to give the world a giant salon in which to show off their NFTs. And it's not just, when you think NFTs, you think like a picture, but we actually just invested in a company that does sound NFTs, which hopefully we can get to Agora to support. So I think that's the first trend. And if you want, I can keep on going on. Did we find our missing judge? Like, I could talk forever. It's midnight here, so, and I've been back to back.
Yeah.
Agora calls since 7 a.m. So.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate that. I think Kathleen we're asking her to just refresh. It's a bit of a microphone problem.
Okay. Well, if you want, I can give you a second trend.
Yeah. Kathleen,
Can
you
hear
go
me?
ahead. Yes,
Hi.
I can hear you now.
I think I'm back.
You are, and welcome. We're good. We're happy to have you.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that, William. And we are gonna come back to you guys occasionally. Of course, we'll ask Kathleen a little bit about what she's seeing in Americas, and we'll ask Parul what she's seeing in Emea, and go a little deeper on that as well. And thank you very, very much. Impromptu, discovery on APAC there by William. Kathleen, yes, please, if you remember, if you don't mind, please, your thoughts on the Gramophone pitch.
Yeah, and apologies that my microphone didn't work,
No problem.
but thank you for the pitch. I thought it was interesting as voices with Lunch Club, etc., becoming a very big platform for many that they're looking at. And it sounds like the problem that you're solving is on the back end for music, for high quality audio, but I can see the capabilities of that plugging into gaming, especially because all the different platforms don't necessarily talk to each other. And so I think being able to describe that and how you can solve that problem would be very interesting. And then you mentioned just further along with the licenses that you have or potentially have with SoundCloud, it would actually be good to know where you are with that process and how is that starting to develop. And it sounds like that's actually how you will monetize by those licenses, if a lot of what you're doing right now for the creator economy is free. But I will say that the interesting thing I think that we've all discovered from COVID is that there's a lot of avenues that we all want to discover new platforms, and there's a lot of opportunity for people to create, right, and earn supplemental income. And so I think that that's another avenue to maybe talk about some of your user base as well and how they'll use the platform. But thank you for the presentation. I thought it was very interesting.
All right. Excellent. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you to all three of our presenters from APAC. That wraps up the pitches from that region. And we are just about on time. We're running just about a minute or two early. Who would have thought? That's amazing. Thank you very much for that, everybody. We are now going to jump over to the Emea region pitches. So first up is Sewer Together, and presenting is co-founder, Georgina Denis. Georgina, are you there?
Hello, I'm here. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Georgina. Good to see you. Okay. When you're ready, share your screen, present your deck, and take it away.
Thank you. Okay, I hope everyone can see my screen. Hello, my name is Georgie Dennis, and I'm a co-founder at Suru Together. And our mission at Suru is to find smarter ways for people to do things together. Social challenges are more complex than ever, and the research shows that complex problems are better solved by many people deliberating many ideas. Deliberation also reduces polarization, but it does not scale. Imagine that you work for your city council. How would you hold a conversation about social distancing rules within that city with your community of 10,000 people? Citizens' assemblies are impossible to hold for this many people, and they're expensive. And the existing online platforms do not focus on deliberation, so they can create dangerous ideological divides. The UK market size for public participation in civic decision-making is £1.1 billion and growing because of changes in citizen expectation as well as legislation. And each local council spends on average £2 million a year to engage their community in local decisions. So using our combined 20 years of experience in group decision-making, we have developed an effective method for civic engagement. I am a manager who delivers collaborative initiatives for the English National Health Service and the wider health sector, and co-founder Nicolo is an assistant professor who has researched collective intelligence at the University of Oxford and the MIT Media Lab. With the advice from experts in civic engagement and collective intelligence, we have developed SCI, a CivTech audio platform. Imagine a city official. Let's call her Maria, who needs to consult on social distancing. With SCI, Maria asks citizens to propose ideas that solve this issue. And on the platform, citizens discuss their ideas for addressing this issue in small audio chat rooms. After deliberating, people vote on their favorite idea. In real-life governance, people come together to debate with their voices. And Agora has helped us simulate the same type of offline social interaction, but online. And this is important because on SCI, we want people to focus on their conversations together, not typing, clicking, reading, or waiting. And SCI focuses on small group engagement because it's easier then to exchange data, resolve conflict, and to come to an agreement. So when using SCI, you can bring lots of people together in real time, but still reach a global consensus over just a few conversations. But what does this all mean for Maria, our city official? SCI solves Maria's need for an effective scientific approach to public participation. And SCI can help Maria bridge divides by exposing people to new perspectives in a constructive way. And Maria also gets a collectively agreed idea to address her issue and insights into its strengths and weaknesses. SCI is white-labeled as Maria's department, so Maria doesn't need to convince people to participate in something that's unknown to them, all the while saving Maria's department time and money. And our business model is sustainable because it's mutually beneficial. Civic organizations pay to use the platform, and the anonymized conversations teach an AI to recognize publicly preferred solutions. Therefore, the platform and the intelligence generated on it can be monetized. The revenue from the AI insights goes back to the citizens that generated it using SCI as an equitable way to incentivize and sustain their participation. This also reduces the impact of a cold start problem faced by many new platforms. So SCI is an innovative way to leverage the intelligence of the people who know the needs of their community best. And here is an example of a traditional community engagement exercise. Existing solutions still rely on outdated public participation methods like text-based forums and individual surveys. Our method and our value proposition has been validated by civic organizations, and we've been delivering real-time participatory decision-making events since 2020. We successfully pitched in May for €55,000 of funding from an EU Horizon 2020 program, and we've used this to build the SCI MVP using Agora technology. We also won the grand prize at Imperial College London's Women Entrepreneurship Programme, and during the programme, we worked with experts to hone our product market fit, speaking with local councillors and city officials so that we could go to market with our MVP. Our marketing strategy starts with a pilot in the London Borough of Lambeth, and we'll add SCI to the UK digital marketplace of pre-approved suppliers for local governments. So we asked the RTE 2021 judges to support our application of real-time engagement to bring communities together to solve local problems. The prize money will help us develop our brand and be recognized by civic organizations. And I'll end here with a quote from Maya, a sports and community engagement officer for Lewisham Council. Thank you.
Yay. Well done, Georgie. Okay, that was awesome. That was awesome. Really proud of everybody so far. This has been excellent. Okay, so I guess we're back to the beginning. Parul. Hopefully I'm going to babble along for just a few more seconds to give you some time to collect your thoughts. But yes, please, when you're ready, let us know, what did you think of Suru Together?
I think I really love the idea and the concept. It's awesome what you have thought about. I was just wondering about, the decision-making time frames, especially in the government organizations. How quickly do they turn around with this kind of decision-making? And the monetization model, if it is well thought through, and does it kind of fall into certain budgets so that you don't fall into the similar trap as the social media companies eventually kind of went into this vicious cycle for monetization leading up to the unintended consequences. So I think these were some of the broad thoughts that I had, but I really, really enjoyed the presentation and the concept. It's really very valuable for the communities today.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, they made it all the way to the finals. So obviously there's a lot of people who agree with you, Parul, that this is something very interesting and very worthwhile. Let's go to Kathleen. Kathleen, why don't you go next?
Yeah, I would echo the sentiment. I thought it was a great pitch. Seems like there's a need. And then it's just, where will that be used? Will it go outside of one country, and does it have the capabilities to also be global?
Yeah. And what did you think about anything around the presentation as far as, the slides, the cadence, the order, anything that struck you as really, really strong?
I think you hit upon the problem. Congratulations on winning, your competition. It sounds like there is a need for it. You're making traction. I thought it was really well put together, and all the pieces of what you're trying to solve just really came through for a pitch. The deck was also very nice, right? And I think that also just visually helps tell the story as well.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Okay. William, invite you back. Please, your thoughts on Suru Together.
Yeah, I know Parul is like super diplomatic, and so I think that definitely there's a problem. I think most of the world over understand that there's a problem with government communicating with other people. Where I'm based in Asia, and we invest across Asia, from China to India to South Asia to Southeast Asia, and governments have proven themselves. They all need help. So the problem is there. The question is, how do you communicate to your audience, especially when they're investors, that there's a budget to go along with that? So I would try and get some data and some numbers around that. It's always great to get donations, but if you're going to kind of like take it to the next level, how can you help whoever is investing to understand how much people are willing to pay to make this pain go away? Thanks.
Awesome. Okay. Thanks, William. Yeah, again, judges, I know you guys got it in you, and I appreciate that everybody is being so brief and with being so brevity with their feedback. But please, let the audience have it. Let them know that everything that you're thinking. Appreciate the diplomacy and being quite curt, but by all means, espouse away, please. All right, let's go next. So we're going to be presenting Trillions. Marek, are you there? Please come to the stage, share your deck, and take it away, my friend.
I co-founded RequestDeck, a WebRTC video communications company. In addition to building a tech platform that went on to be acquired by Blackboard, a global and online education firm, we also developed SayPage, a service which connected people looking for advice or information with experts via online video meetings. These experts could be teachers, doctors, customer support agents, anyone with knowledge to pass on. Whilst the idea was sound, an obstacle we kept facing at the time was getting experts comfortable with the idea of appearing live online, and as a result, the service never quite took off. Fast forward 10 years, and now millions of people have been forced to accept video meetings as a way of life. Although I'd say that for most, including myself, there still exists an underlying reluctance to switch on the webcam. At the time of trying to launch our Connect to an Expert service, I remember thinking how good it would be not to have to rely on real experts at all. After all,
Mark,
in addition, yeah,
I'm going to jump in real quick just to help you out. You didn't share your screen, so there's no deck.
Okay. According to my screen, I did.
Yeah.
Hang on 1 second.
It's all good. It's all good. I definitely want, everyone in the audience to know and see what you're doing. I want the judges to have the opportunity. I want you to have the best opportunity. And, this is startup land. We have to be flexible at all times. I mean, this is the way we do things, right? We're breaking stuff and moving fast, and this is all part of it. So yeah, go ahead and let's see if you can share your screen, and let's see if we can get that great slide deck up. Oh wow! I just went into metaverse of my own. There we go. There we go. All right, yeah. You know what? No problem. Take it away. Start from the top. Put your best foot forward, and have at her. Good luck.
Okay. All right. Starting again. Okay. So a decade before COVID-19 reared its ugly head, I co-founded RequestTech, a WebRTC video communications company. In addition to building a tech platform that went on to be acquired by Blackboard, a global online education firm, we also developed SayPage, a service which connected people looking for advice or information with experts via online video meetings. These experts could be teachers, doctors, customer support agents, anyone with knowledge to pass on. Whilst the idea was sound, an obstacle we kept facing at the time was getting experts comfortable with the idea of appearing live online. And as a result, the service never quite took off. Fast forward 10 years, and now millions of people have been forced to accept video meetings as a way of life. Although I'd say that for most, including myself, there still exists an underlying reluctance to switch on the webcam. At the time of trying to launch our Connect to an Expert service, I remember thinking how good it would be not to have to rely on real experts at all. After all, in addition to our general unwillingness, we humans are always going to be limited in terms of our availability, both in terms of the time of day we can work, as well as the fact that we can only have one proper conversation at a time. By the languages we speak, the knowledge we have, our consistency, how well our image fits the brand, our patience, all that, and the fact that most of the time at least, we'd like to be paid well for our expertise. And whilst I probably didn't envisage an interactive digital human alternative at the time, CGI and artificial intelligence technology have come on so much over recent years that about 4 years ago, I decided the idea might not actually be so crazy. And so the technical challenge of creating cloud-hosted, lifelike digital humans that people could speak to in web browsers and apps via low-latency WebRTC video calls began, and Trulliance was born. From the off, we believed that digital humans and visual add-ons could actually enhance online experiences and voice-controlled services like Alexa by making them more fun, engaging, and informative. But for this to work, users would have to feel an emotional connection to the digital human they were speaking to. Whilst 2D cartoon representations of humans might be good for certain use cases, more serious conversations, or those requiring empathy, would benefit from a convincing, photorealistic human presence. We also quickly realized that building digital humans would be challenging enough. And so from day one, we designed our avatars to connect to any REST endpoint or AI conversational service, such as those built using platforms like Google's Dialogflow, Amazon's Lex, or Pandora bots, for example, the likes of which already support thousands of developers and services. For a bunch of 6 coders with great real-time communications experience but limited artistic ability, our first attempts at creating digital humans weren't that impressive. However, through much pain, determination, and artistic hires, we finally landed on Truly, pure CGI, relatively pleasing to the eye, and now deployed in healthcare as a cardiac coach, helping post-operative patients with their diet and exercise, in fintech, delivering financial advice and answering FAQs, and soon to be launching in trials for language learning. A couple of issues soon became obvious with our CGI avatars. Firstly, the huge amount of time that went into building a single avatar, and secondly, just how hard it is to replicate an actual appearance as well as a real person's distinct expressions. There's also a strong argument to say that pure CGI used by our competitors is still quite a long way from appearing truly alive. Enter the magic of AI. Through AI, and specifically the use of autoencoders, we can now roll out hugely realistic avatars in a matter of hours, and we're able to replicate any human likeness we want, both in terms of appearance and expressions. I'm using well-known figures here to demonstrate the level of likeness and realism we can achieve, but we can actually generate entirely new appearances too. Voice-only services like Alexa, Siri, and Google Home are changing the way we seek information and interact with technology. By adding a human face, we believe that we can make these services even more compelling, more engaging, and through the use of additional visual elements such as helper screens and embedded videos, they become even more useful and informative. We see a future where digital humans are not only included on websites to deliver information to people in a natural conversational way, without the need for things like form filling and search navigation, but also in places like self-driving cars, electrical appliances, and on screens and in kiosks in places like healthcare centres, airports, banks, and shops. We also see a role in alleviating loneliness. Digital humans can remember things about you, never get bored, and are available 24/7. There's already a significant body of evidence describing how digital humans such as ours will one day be an integral part of elderly care, reminding people when to take their tablets, but also providing companionship and a human-like presence where otherwise there might have only been a void of silence. To finish, we don't see digital humans replacing real humans, nor would we want to. However, we do see them assisting real humans avoid the mundane and scaling services beyond what might be possible employing just real people, both logistically and economically, while still providing personalized service with a digital human touch. We hope that working with Agora and utilizing its ultra-low latency video network to send its minutes through the roof might help us achieve our goals.
Okay, cool. We're going to dive back in here. So I'm going to ask Kathleen if you don't mind, please, come on stage and tell us a little bit about your thoughts on Trulians and the pitch you just saw.
I mean, truly impressive. I think just the one thing that if I can ask a question, I just got a little lost on, or two things. One is, could I have an avatar where I control the avatar? Or are you thinking about the use case of this being truly an AI avatar that would be implemented in corporations or cars, etc.?
I'll allow it. Go ahead,
okay.
Mark. You want to answer?
You can have your own avatar that you can control, but more normally we'd have avatars that are essentially added onto existing conversational services like Alexa and things like that.
Okay. No, thanks for that. And the only reason why I said that is that, I mean, we're invested in Epic Games and obviously everything with the news with Facebook and the metaverse. I just think that increasingly you're going to see more avatars and multiple different capabilities. And how does someone have an avatar that can be plugged into different products and different use cases? But anyway, truly impressive, I thought.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I mean, if you keep saying truly, I think this is what Mark was really going to appreciate, given the fact that it's called Trulians. And I absolutely love that he's got Vote Trulians on the whiteboard behind him. That was a nice hustling entrepreneurial touch there. Yeah. William, your thoughts, please.
Yeah, so, I would probably skip the history lesson. When you're going out pitching, telling everybody all the things that you screwed up over a 10-year period is probably not the way to go. Maybe you just pull out the highlights and what you learned, but focus on the problem that you're currently solving, not what you were doing a decade ago. And then I would say, you know, I would bring the solution up to the front. Showing what you do at the very end after you're talking didn't really bring that impact. And then, as much as possible, try and lose like the Black Mirror sort of like freaky stuff as much as possible. And what are the applications that help humankind and will be a little bit less scary to who you're pitching to? Thanks.
Awesome. Okay, thanks, William. I've got some thoughts on all of this, but I'll go to Parul first. Parul, what were your thoughts?
Yeah. Thank you, Todd. I couldn't see the pitch deck, but I quickly browsed through the web and checked out the website. So I think I really like the technology and what they're trying to do. And I'm really into this digital world or the metaverse. And in fact, I looked into one company last year and we were looking to do a fashion show using the digital avatar. So I'm totally into it. And I would definitely advise on the pitching, just bring down, because this is not a need, so to speak. It could be a need like last year when we were hit into COVID and we needed some solutions. So just double down on the solution part and the need part and show that this is the future and how you're solving for it. I think that is definitely important. And I would say in the pitch, just try to bring in the business model and the revenue model slightly. Touch upon that and show that where you are with it and how you plan to go forward in the business going forward from that standpoint. And the use cases where you're seeing the growth as well, I think that is important. And while we spoke a little bit about the social isolation part, but there is a social disconnect and how the physical and the digital world would interact with each other. That's important because we do see with the online chatting, we still need to talk to the support people online to solve for problems. It doesn't work even if there's a human trying to respond in an asynchronous and a non-physical kind of an interaction point of view. So just try to kind of weave that part as well, because we're not totally over with the human interaction yet. And I think that's important to incorporate.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. And Pro, we're going to come back to you after the next pitch to ask for a bit of a deep dive into what's going on in Emea, the technologies, the state of funding, what's cool and interesting and some of the trends that are happening over there. So just forewarning you on that one. I want to point to the right side of everybody's screen. There is the chat tab, the recognizable chat bubbles there. And then 2 down from that is a poll. So we've launched a poll, and I'm interested to know what you, the audience, think is the most important part of the pitch that a founder should focus on if you're an early stage startup presenting that. So please head over to that poll and let us know your thoughts. And then we're going to bring that question back, and then we're going to get the input from our judges of what they feel about that as well. Okay, so one more takeaway. Everyone in the audience should start to understand that we're having different opinions, right? Different pieces of advice. And this is very standard. Everybody has different thoughts on where things should be, what order they should be in, what to focus on, what they liked and didn't like. And this is the way it goes. So it's all anecdotal data. Even the presenters should understand that as well. And pay attention not to the questions that you need to answer, but the fact that they had those questions while you were presenting, and think about how you might want to go back and be able to improve your deck or your pitch so that those questions do get answered. All right. So anyway, with that said, we're going to move on to the final pitch from Emea. It is Volta XR. Alex, please, welcome to the stage.
Converging, and specifically around mixed reality. But there's only a handful of artisan creators who can afford to build really compelling mixed reality experiences, and even fewer who can make a return on that investment. It makes sense to spend $15 million if you're likely to reach 46 million people like Travis Scott did in Fortnite. Or sell 8 figures worth of merch, which is what happened when Lil Nas X performed in Roblox. While audience demand for immersive entertainment is clearly here and it's only accelerating, the cost and complexity prohibit 99% of artists from participating. That hasn't stopped the creator market from blowing up, though. There are 40 million creators in the US alone. Twitch streamers increased 20x in the last year, and DIY artists now create 8 times as many tracks as professionals. And that's where Volta comes in. Volta is a mixed reality creation platform that gives musicians, artists, and creators the ability to design experiential performances, broadcast them to any 2D streaming platform, and our own VR application simultaneously, as well as into hybridized physical live events. Volta integrates seamlessly into artists' existing workflows and allows them to build new immersive worlds that were previously unimaginable. What once required a state-of-the-art production studio and a 6 or 7 figure budget is now free. In fact, we're releasing our beta publicly in 2 days alongside an event with Boiler Room that will showcase the next level of live hybrid virtual events. It's also the software we're using right now to generate this experience. In fact, we're releasing our beta, like I said, in 2 days with Boiler Room, and we couldn't be much more excited about that. Get Lucky by Daft Punk was by far the most played song on Spotify in 2013, garnering over 100 million streams, yet earning only $417,000. After being divided by their label, management, publishers, and between the robots themselves, each member of the biggest act in the world on their biggest song of all time earned probably less than $200,000 each from Spotify that year. So if I asked you how many concurrent viewers an artist needs on average to make $50,000 a year streaming on Twitch, what do you think that number would be? You might think it's nothing short of hundreds of thousands. But according to Tracy Chan, Twitch's head of music, that number is actually only 183. And that's because the unit economics for this new economy, the patronage economy, works in a completely different way than traditional streaming and broadcasting mediums. Unlike on Spotify, you don't need a massive fan base to make a meaningful income, you just need a passionate one. But that means that you need to make compelling content, build an engaged fan base, and incentivize them to contribute. Volta does all of those things. Volta is a creation tool for artists, but it's also a way to bring artists and fans closer together and give fans a place in their art while monetizing their impact on it. We'll soon be debuting a real-time audience engagement tool at another showcase event. You see, we've turned the chat window in Twitch into a globally accessible Volta controller. Artists can choose keywords to have real-time visual impact on the Volta world being streamed. Whenever an audience member enters that keyword into the chat, it will have that effect on the environment across all platforms for everyone around the world, on Twitch, in VR, and at the venue where an artist is performing in real time. So, in October, when we partner with a major record label to project a Volta world onto one of the biggest and most beautiful venues in New York City, the Brooklyn Mirage, we'll be letting the fans have control over it. This is all made possible because of Agora. 4 months ago, we turned Twitch into a Volta controller, but our latency from broadcast to the live stream was averaging about 38 seconds. Since integrating Agora, it's between 1 and 2 seconds. When it comes to audience engagement, milliseconds matter. Audiences can see the direct effect of their interactions. They can actually co-create in real time and turn the experience itself into their collective canvas. In the short term, we'll democratize the tools for mixed reality creation. But in the long term, we believe that mixed reality will become an art form in its own right, alongside music, cinema, and gaming. That being said, we don't think anyone has gotten mixed reality entertainment quite right just yet. It will only be when enough artists have the creative freedom and access to experience creation tools that the world will begin to see truly unique, expressive, and profound works of art. We believe in our ability to accomplish this because we have an incredible, highly technical team, as well as an impressive array of mentors and partners spanning from Mixcloud to Image and Heat, many of whom we met during our recently completed Techstars Music 2021 program. And with that, I'm very excited to say that our beta is free and it goes live on Saturday. So if you're interested in building your own piece of the metaverse, go to volta-xr.com. Thank you.
All right. That's going to be one of the more unique pitches that you ever will see. Good job, Alex. All right, buddy. Good job. Okay, William, I believe you're up first. Then we're going to go to Parul, and then we're going to go to Kathleen. So, William, your thoughts on Volta XR and the pitch?
Okay, yeah. So I think this is probably one of the more interesting companies to pitch so far. But I think the pitch is like quite right just yet should be the theme. So as a media company, I would position the camera so that it's pointing like kind of like, get some boxes and put it up. And I had real trouble focusing on what you were saying. Because this is not a music performance with visuals. This is a pitch, and all the cool stuff that was going on around you was super freaking distracting. So that said, we're very active in this space. We still do. We're old school. We have demo days. Last week we had one. The co-founder of Twitch. We did fireside chat before our 6 companies for this one. We think what you're doing is quite interesting, okay? But I would my advice is, show the demo somewhere inside the pitch, but don't take your technology to take over your pitch. You're a founder. You're not a pop star, right? So, people need to take you seriously. So don't turn yourself into a cartoon character. Thanks.
Yeah. And I've, and in William's defense and to all the judges, I've asked them to be honest, to be difficult. We want the grit. I think you in the audience really want the grit. And I know from speaking to all the founders, they really want the grit because they are obsessed with building a really, really great company, being able to do really, really great pitches. So they want all the feedback. It doesn't harm them at all. Scar tissue is the armor of the entrepreneur. They can take it. And plus, we all know it's at the end of the day, it's anecdotal data. It's one person's opinion. We're just factoring it all in aggregate. So with that said, Parul, you're up.
Absolutely. So I enjoyed all the color and gizmos, and I totally agree with what William said. Don't get the attention away from you. That's your highlight and your time to shine. So keep the spotlight on yourself. And funnily enough, I worked last year very closely with Deutsche Telekom just around COVID as well, because they were going to launch 5G, and all of this was going to be the riding factor for consuming 5G and launching new phones and stuff like that. So it's interesting to show what you want to do or what you're trying to do, but sometimes founders also go overboard with the demos. So it's important to showcase in a very, very nice visual way. And I think storytelling is very important because we are trying to show the future and what we will bring as an experience. It is not a problem solution kind of a story. It's more of an experience, a journey. And if you can weave in the real problem that you're solving with that, or what is the unique experience that your solution will give, it's going to be great. And for XR technologies which are dependent on external hardware, it's kind of important to also say what kind of external hardwares that consumers would need to take or buy, expense, some kind of dimensions on that, and also how you're going to scale or how you're going to grow. Are you looking into the partnership model, where the users will come and what will they do by consuming this technology, and why should they consume this technology? So these are my just 2 cents on that.
That's good. That was great, Parul. I love that. I love all of that. All right, Kathleen, bring us home on Volta.
Yeah, and thank you for the pitch. I'm definitely going to check out the beta launch in this coming week, and not to pile on too much on the other comments, but there is a time and place, I think, to showcase and demonstrate Volta that you want to bring them in, but you don't necessarily want to be in the pitch the whole entire time. I think a couple of things that I thought about this is you really, I think, have to probably communicate the vision and where you want to take this in the future just a little bit more, just to show the capabilities of what it can be, which really did get me thinking about some of the competition and who is doing this and how can you differentiate that. Because I thought, could someone like, Instagram just, figure out the capabilities of this, which then also led me to think about some of the creators and how easy is it for them to put on an event. Obviously, you want some sort of seamless use of this. And then the types of influencers that you are trying to attract onto the platform, because I think there's a couple of different layers from those that are celebrities or influencers that may want to host an event all the way down to just creators that want to host an event for friends or others. And so what is it really that you're trying to solve for, the different use cases there? But other than that, I really enjoyed the presentation.
Yeah. It's getting interesting now. I mean, after we had Suru, then we had Trulians, then now we have Volta. We're definitely starting to really, expand the possibilities out there. So appreciate all of you guys. Well done. I know the hard work. I know everything that goes into it. Relax. There's only 3 very, very nervous people left backstage waiting to go. And I can actually see them, and I can see they're laughing when I say that. I wanted to come back to Parul, and if you don't mind, if you could maybe spend 3 or 4 minutes here and just tell us a little bit about your region. Talk to us about Emea. Talk to us about doing startup, where finance is going and where investment money is going, where the technologies are going, anything like that. I'd love to have you explain to us a little bit about what's happening in your region.
Yeah, it's been a very exciting year, I would say, 2021. So Europe is never in news for funding, so to speak, for startups. But it's been really exciting for the consecutively for the first 2 quarters that close to I think it's about 59 billion or something put together, the funding that European startups have received. And mostly they are in growth stage, so it's like not very early stage early stage startups have received investing, not saying that, but mostly it's late stage and growth stage startups, so Series C and onwards, and seed stage startups as well. And Europe predominantly has been around e-commerce. Fintech is like a big sector here. A lot of stuff around the battery companies, lithium-ion batteries. So that's really definitely one of the big things. And we've definitely had a very big exit with UiPath this year, which actually came out of Romania, Eastern Europe. So they have been really some good moments for Europe this year. And there are some notable venture funds who are very active. So Axel and Early Bird Venture Capital, they are all very active in Europe, with UK, Germany leading the way, Sweden, following suit, which is always on, very, very technologically oriented country and always looking for new ideas. We got, Spotify from there. So there's a lot of stuff that is happening and really exciting. And in fact, yesterday only, I think CV Insights published a report on the Nigerian ecosystem, and there's been like a lot of activity that's happening there. And so overall, I would say it's been really exciting Q1 and Q2 for Europe as well as the Africa region. And it's really growing very, very, very well in the technological sector.
Nice. Okay. Well, I really appreciate that. I want to remind everybody to stay tuned that we are going to publish. We have created the poll, but it's going to be for the Audience Choice Award. Okay. So at the end of this, Tony Blank's going to come on and he's going to talk to all the founders who presented today. And we're going to have a discussion around their spark, right? Like what inspired them to become an entrepreneur, inspired them to go after trying to solve this problem, create cool technologies. Why did they choose an RTE platform to base their technology on? All this kind of stuff. And at that time, during that really cool discussion, that's when the poll is going to be up. It's going to be live. And people are going to be able to vote for their favorite pitch, their favorite company, and they're going to win $500 just for being the audience favorite. Okay, so just want to remind everybody about that. In the meantime, you can jump over to the poll that's up right now and let us know what you think, or what, in your opinion, or maybe even what you know is the most important part of the pitch according to success, getting money, hiring talent, getting customers, building a partnership. all those kind of things. All right. So head over there, answer that poll. We are going to ask the judges for their opinions on this after we collect that from everybody right now. And I see that William Balbin is being very active over in the chat as well. I think it was inspired by him being named the Simon Cowell of the panel, which means I'm not sure. So I guess we would have Paula Abdul or maybe Heidi Klum on here as well. But I'm not really up to speed on those shows. I just know that they are once upon a time part of it. But anyway, so let's move on before I get myself into more trouble than I'm already in. And let's jump into the Americas region. Okay, so judges, we're going to be going to the Americas region now. And first up, Tally, welcome to the stage, presenting Blink Date. Share your screen, unmute, take it away.
Yes, hello, thank you so much. Just sharing my screen. And I hope everyone can see that. Today, I'm going to be sharing Blink with you, an audio-first speed dating app for people who want to build relationships that matter. My name is Tali. I'm a lawyer turned product manager who came up with the idea for Blink after a blackout experience. My co-founder, Laura, is an ops person who is also a product manager and joined Blink because she nearly swiped away the partner she's been with for over 6 years. Now you might be thinking, another dating app, but there are so many of those already. Well, 79% of still single dating app users have actually deleted a dating app in the past 6 months for reasons including stress caused by online dating, feeling unsafe on apps, and generally not enjoying the experience. The solution is Blink, an audio-first, swipe and profile-free dating experience that relies on relationship psychology, letting people communicate in real time and focus on what really matters. Now, I want to share a little bit about the backstory of Blink. I said earlier that it was born of a blackout experience. You might have assumed that I meant an alcohol-induced blackout experience, but that's not what I meant. It was actually a blackout dining experience at a restaurant called Nalagat. I was seated with total strangers and had an incredible conversation with them without having any idea what they looked like. After the dinner, I saw them for the first time, and I realized that had I seen them beforehand, I would have assumed that we didn't have anything in common, and I would have been totally wrong. This sparked the thought, would people be more willing to meet and get to know people if they didn't know what the other people looked like first? And so Blink was born. Our mission is to build a world where a person's personality, values, sense of humor, and quirks are what set them apart, not their looks, demographics, or fashion choices. In terms of what this looks like in a dating app experience, users put in their basic information, including their age, sexuality, and location. They also tell us their availability on a weekly basis. Based on that, we schedule them for Blink dates, which are 10-minute, audio-only, real-time dates. If the date goes well, then they move on to glances, which are 3 anonymized, profile-less photos, one of which belongs to the person they spoke with. If there's mutual positive feedback on the Blink date and the glance, then it's a match. Now you might be thinking, how do you know that's going to work? Well, we actually did a proof of concept podcast called Date in a Blink and got incredible feedback from our daters. One dater said it was the best online date she'd ever had. People really enjoyed having the chance to have a real conversation instead of just swiping, and liked that there was no visual because it let them focus on the conversation and what the other person was saying. We have over 600 people on our wait list and have had 33% month-over-month growth. We had over 100 people sign up for our podcast. Of those who participated in the podcast, 100% said they would consider audio-only dating again, and 50% of our dates resulted in a match. In terms of how we plan to monetize, we'll have a freemium model with paid premium features. We'll also offer ticketed events, both virtual and, once it's safe, live. We'll also generate ad revenue through podcast sponsorships. The market is huge. In the US alone, it's $46 billion. 15 million daters downloaded at least one dating app in Q4 2020, and the average dater is actually using 3 to 5 dating apps at any given time. Now, there is a lot of competition. There are personality dating apps, first dating apps like S'more, Jigsaw, and there are bigger dating apps like Tinder, Bumble, Match, and Hinge. But none of these apps put the power of voice and real-time communication first the way that we do. And even the ones that are personality first still heavily rely on curated profiles and pictures. Our plan to tap into the market is to build out our team. Our founding members will go full-time and will hire engineering, data science, and marketing staff to turn the vision into reality. We'll also invest in growth marketing, ramping up our marketing campaigns and offering those in-person and virtual events. We'll also expand our thought leadership, building out the podcast to include relationship advice and insights, and producing diversified content to become a trusted source on healthy relationships. We're raising $1.3 million for an 18-month runway to fully launch Blink and reach 500,000 members by Q4 2022. Daters are tired of swiped-based looks-first apps. Blink offers Dater the chance to focus on what really matters, getting to know prospective partners for who they are. We'd love for you to join us on this journey to revolutionize online dating and help people find love. Thank you so much.
Yay, Tally. Really well done. Really well done. That was a lot of fun. Loved the chatter over in the chat room as well throughout. Tally, you'll have to go back and read up on what you missed there while you were presenting. But yeah, that was awesome. It's interesting. I think 5, 7, 8 years ago, the dating apps were all the buzz, right? But we haven't seen it reinvented for quite some time. I think it's interesting that your timing and I'm bringing this back now might actually be really, really good because it needs to be, it's always going to be a problem, but it needs reinvention. So this is really cool. I like this. I'm spoiling the broth here a little bit, but Parul, you're up first. Why don't you tell us what you thought?
Yeah, I'm a bit biased because I have a bias for something which is taking people away from just looking good and taking out the filters, Instagram filters and stuff like that. So I have certain investments in this space. So I totally dig the idea, but I also would like to say that I think the research has to reflect the age group that you're looking into because maybe the Gen Z or Gen Alpha are not into this kind of a concept because they grew up with Snapchat and Instagram. So I think if you could just suggest that in your market research, what was the age group and how many people did you, take into the account? Because it said 100% of them liked it. Because I know people have very divergent view on voice-only concepts. Either they love it or they hate it. There is no in between so far that I have seen. And how would the match happen? What would be the journey? Would be like an experience to kind of suggest that would be good as well. And good luck with that. And yeah, I think I really, really like the concept. I would like to see how this evolves and how many users will actually take that and which geographies will accept it and the generations as well.
Excellent. All right. Thank you very much, Parul. Okay, Kathleen, over to you. Please, your thoughts.
Yeah, thank you for that. I like that there's an authentic way to have a conversation and it takes out the bias of swiping and visual. So I like that aspect of it. I would say to me, I feel like the dating app market may be a bit saturated. So to be able to understand the size of the market and then also the market that you're going after and to the point of maybe it's demographics and maybe there's a niche subset there that you could start to pick off or cherry pick. And then also maybe perhaps how you're using maybe some of the AI or other capabilities to make the matches, because I think that also would be the differentiation for this marketing app, which I think would be interesting to understand that for others. And then if you have a 600-person wait list, that's fantastic. And it would be good to understand how many repeat users that you have. If you have a 50% match, just, are they continuing to use the platform to have authentic conversations? And then lastly, I don't know if you necessarily have to just limit yourself to audio. Over time, there may be other capabilities that and I'm just thinking about this because we invested in a company called Lunch Club, which is more professional networking as opposed to dating. But, really started with meeting in person and then quickly moved to video. So there could be other capabilities to build out your platform over time on your roadmap. That could be interesting as well.
Yeah. And I mean, it's great advice and it's things to note. And Tally might be sitting there. Oh, yeah, totally. We are planning on doing that. But, the fact that it comes up and is a talking point for somebody who just heard the presentation, that's just something to note and remember that while talking about that, you could all just add in. Plus, there's many more things that we can do down the road or something.
Right. And I know it's still
that
like very early, right? It's still very
Yeah.
early stages, but and if we were having a conversation that probably would come up, but.
Yeah, exactly. But I appreciate that we're getting the feedback based on the pitch, on what we heard and what we're seeing, and hopefully giving, the audience a great understanding of what we see and what we understand. So, all right, William, take it away.
Hey, so it's getting pretty late here for me. I'm getting close to that blackout experience because it's almost 1 a.m. So a couple of things. One is there was a word that I didn't really understand on the screen for about 20 seconds, and maybe it's like an inside word or something, but it's like some word and I didn't get it. But it was okay. It had a dash in it or something. Second thing is I've invested in 3 dating sites. And I exited them. We made some money, right? But I would say that they're really good as lifestyle businesses. And my freshman year roommate from college exited his lifestyle business for $350 million to KKR. So there's nothing wrong with lifestyle businesses. But what I would kind of say is be very careful taking VC. So 1 million is cool, but I might just do friends, family, and awesome people as opposed to a aggressive VC that's going to try and drive you to the moon. And then the third thing is, I don't have any problem with. I think you're not doing this. I haven't used a dating app because when last time I was on a date, there weren't apps, right? It's a long time. I'm really old. But I did invest in 3 of them, and the engagement level sounds really good. So just sort of roll with that. I think you're going to self-select to people who are in a certain demographic. And so that's fine. People who are good at communicating with each other through voice. And so don't feel so bad if you don't expand to the people who are not perhaps so eloquent. We'll see what happens. But I think it's quite interesting. I've always liked, dating apps. Here in China, I invested in the first lesbian, basically dating site. And it was actually an education platform because people here did not know how to be lesbians because it wasn't really acceptable, and it turned into an education platform, and the usage per day was over Facebook. It was 2 hours a day because people were just chatting with each other. It wasn't so much dating. It turned into a communication and education platform. So I would just roll with it. Just understand that if you're taking, you're taking VC money, you're also taking VC expectations. So hope that helps.
That's Matt, we got to capture that quote. You're not just taking VC money, you're taking VC expectations. I think that is brilliant. And yeah, again, I think we all have to thank William for staying up as late as it is. It's past midnight, I believe now. I'm getting pretty late. I don't know, William, maybe a little baijiu help get through the rest of this. I'm kidding. Nobody ever actually have that. You will never forget.
No white lightning China style. No, thank you.
Right, and Kathleen spent a lot of time in Hong Kong, and she's probably familiar with the baijiu as well.
I've had enough toast to say none for me as well.
Yeah, I know exactly. Okay, well that's awesome. Really appreciate that. Again, everybody, we're almost done with the pitches. Go over to the poll, hit that up, and now we're going to bring up William, and presenting Uber Battle.
Hey guys, so my name is Will, and let me just show you what we actually do. So give me 1 sec as I play this video for you.
Quiet Events to host an interactive virtual game show where 3 live DJs battle it out. Perfect for your virtual conference after party or corporate team building event. Switch between stages to party to your favorite DJ. Using the chat window, DJs take requests, give shoutouts, and even play games with the audience. To win, DJs collect points from getting the most likes and views. Only one will win. For more information and to book your next battle, visit quietevents.com.
Awesome. So let me just share my screen. Cool. So guys, on the simplest level, I've created a platform that allows people to compare 3 different types of content. It can be used to display anything, but I'm focused on creating live DJ battles. So how did this all begin? Well, I own a silent disco company in which 3 live DJs play music and everyone wears headphones. I know it sounds crazy, but it's absolutely a lot of fun. So with everything shutting down due to COVID, I tried to mimic our parties as close as I could using Twitch. Then our corporate clients wanted to use the same service, and it just wasn't enterprise grade. So then we upgraded to Agora for its audio, visual, and extremely low latency streaming service. So why is this needed? Well, most of us at this point have experienced virtual conference fatigue or boredom looking at the PC and joining calls all day. Kind of like you, William, today, being on the call for so long. So most of us consume data at work and visual at work and and personal watching and without doing anything. So you guys watch stuff without doing stuff. So creating something that was more interactive, that people engage with, is key if we want to create something that mimicked our amazing dance parties. Uru Battle has been a success in several markets, such as conference after parties, corporate team building, and even virtual graduation parties. It's a new market that we're entering into, which is the general public creating a monthly online DJ battle tournament show. Imagine a show similar to America's Got Talent, but for DJs around the world to compete against each other. Our tool keeps score and ranks DJs, creating a new sport, virtual DJing. Our goal is to make it even more immersive by using some real-time engagement gamification tools for the audience. We have future plans on making this available on VR and other gaming systems. So why us? Why not us? We're experts in nightlife entertainment for over 9 years. The only company doing this, a mailing list of over 100,000 people to promote to. And we have proven over the past year that our platform is not just successful in generating revenue, but keeping people happy and engaged. But guys, we still need help. There's a long road ahead of us building out more functionality and features. So we need to hire experienced UI, UX developers, finding sponsors, lawyers, especially to protect our ideas. So today we generate income from hosting weekly party events and also which bring in about $2,000 in profit. We are working on building out the monthly DJ Battlement tournament, which we expect to have tens of thousands of people will join with vastly higher profits. And as the people come, so will the sponsors for a third revenue stream. So guys, that's pretty much it. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to partying you guys in the future. Short and sweet.
Nice, buddy. Nice. Yeah. Okay, so I have a feeling I know something that might be coming, but good job, buddy. And that's just really cool. I love, at least from looking at it as something I want to do or participate in. Definitely interested. Okay, so let's go to Kathleen first, and then William, and then Parul, your bet and cleanup.
I like the idea. I like the space. I think it's cool. I think just one thing just to highlight a little bit more is just the growth aspect of what you have weekly or monthly in regards to either events, venues, and how many people, just to show some of the growth of what you're building.
Mm-hmm. And your thoughts on this style of pitch, if I may?
As far as style, what are you thinking?
Like as an investor, yeah. I mean, you're thinking you're deploying money, right? And so you're looking at this from the business point of view and whatnot. I just thought he took a different direction, and I just thought your thoughts on that.
Well, there's a couple of different things. I mean, there's the quick the quick pitch that we're having today, and I think if you get into more of a different type of conversation, and I know that we're talking a little bit about some of the things that we're seeing on the poll. I mean, I think the problem and the solution and what you're trying to solve, and it's a passion, right? So DJing is absolutely a passion, which I think is something visionary that founders and CEOs need. The second thing is that you want to just see growth, which is something that you want to capture within a pitch quickly. And I know team actually is on this, but I really think that also just team should really hit home. I mean, part of picking and partnering and winning is having a fantastic team or a fantastic team that you want to build too. So I would just, maybe I'll just caveat with those kind of things. I mean, you're always looking for, what is the vision? How big could the vision be that you want to build? How are you going to execute on it? So a lot of that is the team that you have it. And then are you on your way with your idea? Or maybe you might still be early and you still need some help building that out. But I would just say that those are kind of the things that I've been kind of listening for as everyone has been making their pitch, if that's helpful.
It is. And we're going to dive into that a little bit more. And that's a lot of, over in the polls, it may actually start to influence the polls actually going on now.
Yeah. And the last thing is, I mean, as companies start to grow and scale, I mean, you'll start to think more about like the revenue and the monetization. So sometimes those conversations are still a little bit too early to be had. But I think probably the problem, the idea, and the team is where I would be thinking.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, again, I think the polls are showing that as well.
Yeah.
But we'll get into that just a little bit more in a bit. So, William, your thought on Uber Battle, please.
I've been trying to help DJs go cross-border for a long time. The coolest experience I had was when my second startup, we brought Vice Media into China. And while I was at SoftBank, my side hustle was running Vice. And launched this DJ in China called Diplo. And after parties were fun because we're the only two people in the entire place just drinking beer. That said, though, I mean, when you're doing these pitches, like you need to put a little meat on the bone. I mean, I think that you don't want to show everything, but you want to say when you proved engagement, at least one or two numbers, because VCs are kind of into numbers, or show that you've got that engagement. Okay, and if you don't, it's okay. It's just say it. But if you say you prove something, show a little bit more. Thank you.
Yeah, I can double down on that. The numbers thing, I think we heard it earlier, we're saying the billions, right? But like a number, our mind likes to
at least
grab
one number. At least one number.
Yeah. Okay, good. Parul, over to you, please.
Actually, I mean, I've seen startups like these and I've seen them pivoting. So unfortunately, I have a bias in kind of judging this, but I do see that William has made some revenue. So I think it'll be great to kind of compress the solution part a little and just focus on the traction part, like William also mentioned briefly. And what is that metric that you want to capture? Just one of that would be useful to have, and where you want to actually have patents, because not necessarily patents are defensible in this case because it's a passion economy. So how are you going to be a leader in the passion economy and how you're going to scale it? I think that's going to become very, very important for you to prove and showcase.
Okay, awesome. All right, thank you very much, judges. Kathleen, forewarning, I am going to come to you for a little America's deep dive as well, some of the things that you are seeing and interested in on the America's continents. But before we do that, we have our final pitch of the day, all right? So without further ado, please welcome Jason, presenting venue.
Remote employees aren't feeling the love. Studies have shown that remote workers are feeling more isolated and less connected to their company culture than ever before. And that's a big problem because remote work is here to stay and company culture is directly linked to talent retention and stronger company performance. A recent Harvard Business Review article written by a Stanford professor and a vice president at Slack made the problem abundantly clear. Organizations that fail to invest a substantial amount of time and energy into keeping their culture on track remotely will fall behind. And that's why we built Venue. Venue is an interactive live streaming platform that brings your company culture to life. It's where old office rituals like all hands or town halls are reimagined online in a whole new way, with immersive branded experiences, rich multimedia support, emoji reactions, Slack-like messaging, internal video networking, breakout sessions, and much, much more. It's kind of like your company's own Twitch channel, but it's made private and secure with all the commonly used features of OBS Studio built right in. So you don't have to be a streamer or a broadcaster to make really high production value streams. I'd love to show it to you real quick. And here we go. This is what it looks like when you are in Venue. Here you have the stream starting soon. And here I'm going to come up on the stage and get this party started. Hey, everybody, what is going on? I'm going to come on up and start the show. Now I can actually go and I can manage all the different tools that are happening right here on the right-hand side. You can see I can control my profile, including taking a selfie or uploading a photo. And the chat is really exciting. Looks like Wayne has dropped a chat in here. We can have some emoji reactions. As an organizer, I can even take his message and I can shout it out to everybody at the audience. And here you can see there's only 2 people in here today, me and Wayne, and I can mouse over and see his role. But we can have hundreds or even thousands of attendees right here, and I can interact with them from the stage. Now, let's say I wanted Wayne to even come up on stage. As an organizer, I can invite him to the stage queue. And over here is where I can manage all the people that I want to come up on stage in a show. I can bring Wayne here up on stage. Hey, Wayne, welcome to the show. He can give a wave. And of course, I can manage him and take him right back off. Now, of course, we want to share lots of content to inspire the team and to engage people on their updates. I can head over to the Share tab, and here's where we can upload PDFs, link interactive items like Miro boards, Giphies, the entire Google Workplace, and more. And I've actually put in the same deck that I was pitching here, and here we are. And what's really cool about the way that I can engage content here is I can fly around the screen and easily control my size and interact with the content in a whole new way. And it's not just related to PDFs. I can do videos. I can do animations. Let me switch over here to the hometown hero. I'm here in Toronto, Drake. And I can really start to build interactive, exciting events for my team. There's so much more I'd love to show you, like backstage chat, music, emojis, the ability to add Shopify stores, downloads, agendas. We've been working so closely with our clients. We know exactly what they need, and we continue to build the product roadmap for them. Let me head back to our presentation. So, culture-obsessed remote companies already love Venue, all right? And the result of all this is not just more fun, but it's real measurable impact on employee engagement, alignment, transparency, connectivity. In short, Venue is going to help you build your culture remotely. So who's using this thing? Shopify, Wellsimple, Loblaw Digital, Ada. We have dozens of companies that already love Venue. And these are companies that have been very intentional about rethinking the transmission of company culture remotely. And we know that more enterprises are going to follow their lead. Now, without real-time engagement technology, we would not be able to create authentic moments. Real-time video and interactions really drive transparency and a sense of belonging. Our implementation includes Agora WebRTC for live video at scale, and it's paired with a Google Firebase front end and dozens of other modern web technologies that drive all the things I just showed you, like live status, chat, emojis, customization, and way more interactions. Now, we've already powered over 900 events for more than 100,000 attendees. We've collected more than $250,000 in sales. We already break even every month, and we haven't spent any money on marketing. Our pricing model is really simple. Venue starts at just $4 a member per month. We've got plans for internal teams, external broadcasters, even an enterprise consumption model too. Our variable costs are driven by video consumption and cloud computing, and they amount to less than 20 cents per member hour. So on average, members today are consuming about 4 hours each month. So our pricing gives us an 80% gross margin or even better. We also believe there's an opportunity to unlock future value with premium features, a hybrid meeting offering, new pricing tiers, and more. Now, we're targeting people and culture, internal communications, and broadcast teams at remote companies. Today, companies typically have a single video conferencing solution like Zoom or Teams or Meet or WebEx, and those are great solutions for ad hoc or small group meetings, and we don't replace those. But just like companies used to have many different types of meeting spaces inside their offices, and they might still go offsite, We believe they're going to have a toolbox of video conferencing solutions for different purposes in the future. And Venue is going to be one of those tools, specifically for the kinds of meetings that aren't about doing work or making decisions in small groups, but are about driving alignment to vision, celebrating milestones, building inclusivity, and reinforcing values. Right now, we've been growing through word of mouth, but we'd like to create and own the category of culture building video conferencing tools. Now, Venue is the only video conferencing solution that builds culture. While I like to think we're pioneering this new category, adjacent companies that play in a similar corporate virtual event space are Hopin, that raised last month at a $7.75 billion valuation, and Welcome, which raised at a $12 million round last year. Now, our team has worked together before to scale billion-dollar companies. We know how to ship and how to scale. Our CTO, lead developer, and I were part of the early team at Wealthsimple, which is described by TechCrunch as the $5 billion Canadian fintech giant. We built the code, we ran the marketing, and we scaled the company from the first 1,000 clients to more than 1 million Canadians. And our COO was one of the first employees at Loblaw Digital, the e-commerce arm of the $50 billion Canadian grocer, and he knows how to roll out new technology across large and complex organizations. We're currently 8 people, 4 developers, 2 product designers, a PM, and me. We've bootstrapped this business to 8 employees. We've got positive cash flows all year. And before we went to raise, we really wanted to convince ourselves that the technology could be built and that the market existed before we tried to convince others. Well, we have convinced ourselves. We've de-risked the technology, we've de-risked the demand, and now we're ready to grow. We're looking for $4 million to scale the business, and we're going to use the proceeds to accelerate our product roadmap and invest in sales and marketing to grow to $2 million ARR in less than 24 months. Now, that was a lot to cover in 5 minutes, and I'm sure there are many questions. I'm really looking forward to your feedback and continuing the conversation here at Startup Battleground and beyond. Thank you.
Bada boom. Practice, people. Practice matters. All right. So, who we got up first? Okay, great. Thanks, Jason. William, I believe you are up first, my friend. Please.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, so Jason was engaging early in the chat, giving me shit, calling me Simon Cowell, so that was cool. No, but I found out today that Paul Demarais the third, whatever his name is, and Michael Kachin just invested in one of my companies in India. So Wealthsimple is cool. So I'm not, pitch was good, very smooth. There are 3 roles in a startup. Generally, there is tech, there's product, and there's the shit talker. So nothing wrong with that. So here's the thing, this is not just advice for you. No, it's a good pitch, really good pitch. Okay, Jason. Yeah, you're good. But just when you go to Asia, first of all, SaaS business model doesn't work, right? So just be aware when any of you go to Asia, when anybody's coming to Asia, people don't really pay by the month, by the member. So that's very important to just for all of you. If you ever go to Asia, you don't actually have to go to Asia. Second thing is the buzzwords. Most people, when you're pitching to people whose English is not their native language, that's one thing. But when you're pitching to somebody whose Silicon Valley language is not their native language, that's another thing. So you need to work on breaking things down and putting things in real English or real English from your target audience. And then so the last one is culture. Okay, so the concept of culture in different markets is a bit different. So you can sell work from home, remote work culture. Yeah, I'm in China right now. I'm in 996, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., 6 days a week, or 007, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The concept of culture when you're pitching to another audience is different. So this is not so much for Jason, and this is for all of you. Understand who your target market is, especially when you're pitching outside the U.S. And I hope that helps. And thanks for giving me some guff. Have a good one.
Thanks, William.
Yeah, man, you are, and you're almost done. You're almost done. We just need to we're just going to have to go back and we have to figure it out. and then you're going to be able to crash. But amazing stuff, very actionable advice, something that not only Jason can take and use, but I think the entire audience can take and use. And unfortunately, William might actually win the Audience Choice Award, so you might have even earned $500, I think. Moving over to Parul. Parul, your advice, please.
Yeah, I love the pitch. I really am into the collaboration and content sharing and working in the COVID times. I mean, I've been doing remote working for all my life, but I mean, COVID just accelerated, and so this is awesome what I just saw. I think I think culture was like the point that you mentioned in your pitch at least 5 times, and I think that is important. Like how I think that you showed the product and how culture, that connection for me was kind of missing. So you spoke about insights and benefits, and they were users. So if we can connect them briefly, you don't have to talk in detail, but just one benefit which potentially echoed across, that will be great. And then the connection to Hopin was not really clear to me, because as far as I know, they were like an online events platform. So if you're trying to create a category, then just an adjacent category and how we want to evolve, maybe a line on that would have been useful for somebody like me.
Awesome. Thank you.
Great feedback. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, Kathleen, over to you, please.
Yeah, thanks. It was a great pitch. I think every time I was thinking about something, you turn the corner and you explained it. So I really do appreciate that. It was comprehensive. So thank you. I would say that probably as you get to some of your numbers, such as your team and talking about the ARR, just the cadence of how you deliver it, and maybe even putting it on paper so then it hits home and that takeaway that people can remember. I agree in culture. I was thinking about when you listed your customers, in some ways you could probably have some sort of testimonial or how they utilized your service to implement some of those pieces of it. Because with the remote work and collaboration, I do think companies are trying to figure out how do they stay connected and what does culture mean, and how do you make sure that you keep everyone engaged from that perspective. And probably to the point about Hopin or some of the other collaboration tools, I think it's probably just trying to figure out where that fits within the market category to give some sort of comparable. But I think that is a good comment that was made there. Like it's a little different, but just the differentiation between that. And those are all my comments.
Those are great. Okay, thank you so much, Kathleen. Okay, excellent. All right, so now I'm going to go over, now that it's done. Well done, Jason. You crushed that. Now we're going to go quick. So I'm just going to revisit the poll, and it's really, really tight here. We are at a pretty much a virtual tie. After 77 votes, we have problem tied up with solution. So real quick, let's break that down. 10 seconds, William, your thought on problem versus solution versus something else. What's the most important part of the pitch to focus on for a founder?
I mean, the general idea is to get a meeting. It's an elevator pitch, or it's a very short pitch. So you're trying to excite, right? You're trying to show that you have a solution. You're trying to prove that you're real, and then you actually have to ask for something, which is generally a meeting. So it's a formula. We run it. I mean, we are the #1 most active seed and angel stage investor in the world, according to PitchBook Q2, blah, 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 blah. It's pretty freaking simple. Try and get a meeting.
Yeah, definitely. So, and then Parul, what are your thoughts? What do you want to see the most? Understand the best?
Yeah, I think problem is basically to kind of hone down on the pain, right? To make it really feel that it hurts, and that's why the solution is needed. And sometimes the solution is more about vision and experience and how you're going to change the world. So I guess both of them kind of tie together, and it depends on the business and the vision that the founder has and how they want to build the business. So I think that dimension is very important, and like William said, it's the goal is to get the meeting, have the conversation started. So how you tie the pitch together, keep it tight, is very, very important. Just don't focus on one thing, but having a well-rounded pitch and just have that narrative talking about everything and it unfolds as a story is really important.
Awesome. Okay, Kathleen, your thoughts on the poll results?
Yeah, I think it all ties into storytelling and how do you tell a story for the future, and not only what you say, but how you say it. It has to be said with passion and just also demonstrate that there is ambition and a high hustle that is behind that. And then a lot of that then comes to what is the problem or the solution, or just something that you're just dying, you just have to solve this. And I think when that starts to show through and you can show what the future looks like, that's something different than what there is today, I think that will really pave a lot of way. And then I talked about team again. It's still only at 16%, but I do think people is what drives this. It's what helps you execute it. It helps what execute the vision, and to me, I also think that's a big piece of it.
Yeah, agreed. I could go on that too, but I can't because we don't have time. But Kathleen, I do want to give you the opportunity just to talk a little bit about what you're seeing as far as tech innovation and funding in Americas.
Yeah, so for Lightspeed, we're a $12 billion fund and we're global. So we have 8 offices today that not only includes the US, but China, India, Southeast Asia, Latin America, as well as Europe. What we're seeing, I would say, is a lot of activity that's been happening, not only on the investment side, but then also the pull for tech. So that's leading to the public markets with everything you've probably seen and read about in regards to SPACs. On the seed side, it's been very active. So we're seeing a lot more seed activity happening. Pre-seed, seed, and even some larger seeds that may have originally looked like a Series A. But that also means that there's more capital coming in. And so that's seed funds, it's solo GPs, family offices, and you're seeing something very similar on the growth side. When companies do reach that size and scale, you're seeing a lot of capital being deployed in the growth rounds. And so companies are getting a lot more funding before they go private. On the sector side, Lightspeed invests in enterprise, consumer, healthcare, as well as in fintech. And so if you think of Lightspeed, we can invest everything from seed all the way to the growth fund when a company goes IPO. We do enterprise, consumer, healthcare, and fintech. And so it is broad, and we see a lot of interesting verticals. We're known for enterprise investing, so that's up and down the enterprise stack. And so we're seeing companies that have AI first mentality. And I'm sure that, in this market, everyone says that. But it is very true that it is disrupting a lot of legacy vendors. There's a big move, acceleration to the cloud. And we're working with a lot of developers on the open source side. So, companies today are more dispersed, and so more collaboration and productivity tools are needed. More complex IT security needs are needed, from everything from typical security to cyber insurance, right? And that's infiltrating the market for what we're seeing in venture. And then you're just seeing the rise of AI and developers having just more of an influence in the budget for what enterprises need. And so for me, I find that very exciting. On the consumer side, we've done some fun, sexy things like Lady Gaga's beauty company. We've done gaming, Epic Games. We think games, obviously we talked about the metaverse earlier, but there is a change in social commerce and influencers, and then also the future of workers in the way that we're working today. And so you're seeing more solopreneurship, you're seeing more consumers and creators creating either their own income or supplementing their income based off of a passion or a hobby that they have, which I find truly exciting. And then fintech and healthcare for us. And just know that all of that has some sort of component of AI and data played into it too. So you're seeing a lot of activity, a lot of disruption across sectors.
All right. Excellent. Thank you very much, Kathleen. Okay. So at this time, I do want to point the audience and everybody over, for those who haven't noticed, but it's been very active. We do have the Audience Choice Award poll up now, already over 50 votes going on over there for who they thought the audience appreciated and liked the most. I'm not going to tell you how to choose. You may choose based on however you feel, whatever you think. By all means, jump over there. Get your votes going. I'm pretty sure some of those founders are probably out on social media yelling, now, come vote. And that's totally cool too. We love the hustle. So I am going to take the judges. We are going to retire backstage and start to converse and collaborate on who the winners are. And I am so happy to be able to bring up my buddy, my colleague, my boss, Mr. Tony Blank. Tony, welcome to the stage.
Hey, Todd. It's great to be here. How you doing today, man?
Doing pretty well. That was a lot of fun. That was really exciting. I love seeing that. I love all the feedback. That's just as it was such a fun thing. I love to see it all. So, now we're going to turn it over to you while I disappear. And you're going to have a conversation, a panel discussion with the founders who can now put away their decks, put away their slides. They can breathe and now have an open and honest conversation with you around their spark and what led them to be an entrepreneur and bring this innovation, their innovations to light. So with all, with that said, stage is yours, my friend.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Todd. You and the judges have fun deliberating. Amazing pitches, right? I have to say, I'm so thrilled that I am not a judge, because if I was, I think I'd probably be deliberating for like 6 or 7 hours, and we'd have to fill a lot more time than what we have to fill today. So give me 1 second. I just lost my headphones. What we're talking about today is the spark, right? One thing that every founder has in common is you took the plunge, right? You decided to start your own business, quit that safe job, and go and build something new the world has never seen. So for the next 30 minutes, I'm going to ask each of you to spend maybe 1 or 2 minutes to talk about that thing. Was it the problem? Was it a mentor that inspired you? Was it this amazing solution that you could uniquely find? And that was the compelling thing that drove you to start your business. We'd love to hear about it. So we'll talk to each startup. Everybody in the audience, if you have any questions, please drop those in the question widget on the side. We'll have some time that we can engage in some kind of conversation after that. So to get things started and kicked off, I will share my own little mini spark, right? So now I'm director of startup programs here at Agora. That's my day job. But in the pandemic, I had a spark to start a little side hustle, right? Now, it certainly wasn't the plunge that all of y'all innovators have taken, because I'm only giving up nights and a weekend here and there. But I built my little side hustle, Next Week Rocks, to help out independent artists while the stages shut down and help them do some online shows and to help them market themselves. And, I just felt compelled, with my background, I'm a musician, also to help out my artist friends in the pandemic. So that feeling of helping out people in need is the spark that got me to jump off and have less free time. But would love to hear the thing that led y'all to start your businesses. So. I have an order here in company alphabetical order. So let's start with Blank. Atali, I would love to hear a little bit more about what led you to start this company.
Yeah, so I had that dining experience that I shared about earlier, which really inspired me to want to help people connect without looks-based assumptions, kind of coloring their initial perceptions of people. And I started working on the idea really around February of last year. And the initial concept was to have live events, live blind speed dating events where you can't see the people you're talking with. But COVID sort of flipped everything upside down and quickly pivoted to do an app, which I think is actually really exciting because it's much more scalable and accessible. And so I think the spark was really just wanting to help people make those connections and kind of one day being able to expand beyond dating. I think this concept is really something that applies beyond just the kind of romantic context. And so our passions really expand beyond that. But as a self-funded startup, we sadly had to start with the smallest piece. And so one day we'll expand more broadly, but we're tackling Blink Date first.
Right on. Cool. Well, that's certainly a spark there. Right on. Cool. Let's go to Rahul. What was the spark that led you to start Digital Darwin?
Hey, Tony. So a few years back, I was working with one of the largest hospital chains in India, working on their digital transformation for patient-centric solutions. And what I saw was that there is a gap between the patient, when the patient leaves the hospital, and when they actually get to their functioning best. And that's something which I even experienced when three seniors in my family, including my father, went through multiple joint replacements. And being in healthcare, I still struggled hard with finding the right kind of rehabilitation for him. And I thought that probably if from healthcare, if I am finding this problem, then there are thousands and millions of others who are still struggling with this. And of course, India being a huge country with a lot of disparity in the kind of services that you get. We in metros are still getting those kind of services. But when you go to the tier 3, tier 4 or rural areas, then rehabilitation as a concept doesn't even exist. And that's the reason when I thought that probably we need to do something around that. We need to look at pain management as one of the areas so that people can get back to their work as soon as possible, even if they are, even if they've got some kind of impairments, but that they need to get back to their work. And the reason we named our company, though our product is Physio AI, but we named our company as Digital Darwin so that we really help people evolve digitally and be the digital Darwins of the age.
Right on. Yeah, I mean, it's bringing a new service to regions that don't have it. That certainly is a compelling reason to start a company. Thank you so much for sharing. Cool. Let's go to Divyana with Edvi. Would love to hear about your story.
Hi, Tony. Thank you. So it all started before the pandemic, actually. So I was visiting one of my school teachers. So I was very fond of him. So he highlighted two key problems that these small tutors and coaching industry was going through. So with all this digital evolution and edtech giants coming in, these small tutors and coaching institutes were really feeling the heat. So the problem was a complete online infrastructure was missing. And of course, to make the learning still very collaborative, productive, no such platform existed. So it all like intrigued me enough to go ahead and start building a platform. And on the student side, so I have been a student and used to take multiple classes in a day during my graduation days. So of course, I know the pain of physically commuting to places and taking classes. So all this problem of teachers and the student side compelled me enough to leave my job and to start this and build a education-centric platform designed especially to cater the needs and problems of the teachers and students. So that is like the story of Edvi, how it all started.
Awesome. Well, it sounds like the conversation with a mentor kind of helped you find that direction. That's great. Definitely looking at those kind of people are helpful and inspiring for sure. Let's move on to Ali, and would love to hear how Gramophone came about.
To be honest, Todd, you kind of stole my answer, to be honest. It was very much like I make music. A lot of my friends make music. They were all struggling to stream to platforms. They didn't want to use all those, but I think someone mentioned, I can't remember if it was Jason, someone mentioned OBS Studio, and like we're techies and we can get our heads around it, but for like an independent DIY creator, it's really, really hard. And so it was literally because this problem existed and we wanted to solve it. Especially musicians, like indie musicians who during the pandemic lost money. It's not even they didn't make money, they actually lost money. And so helping those folks out was really great. And trying to solve something like, I remember watching a YouTube video of how can you stream high quality audio. And there was a video saying like, we put man on the moon, but we haven't been able to stream audio from like GarageBand or Logic. And so that challenge was one that we wanted to tackle. So.
Right on. It's that, like, was it Edison, right? Necessity is the mother of invention, right? I think so much innovation is born out of this tragic pandemic, but that's kind of the way of things work, right? There's adversity, and innovators find ways to make things better for everybody. Thank you for sharing your story, Ali. Cool. So let's go to Georgina and hear about Suru.
Hi, Tony. So for me, the spark that made me start this venture really came from a very personal pain point with the work that I was doing. So I work in the public sector, and I work as a group facilitator, convener, partnerships person. And whenever there's a very social challenge, social issue within the public sector, the general public can get really emotional about it. As you can imagine, on Twitter, for example, and in the public sector, you want to listen to people, you want to hear what they think, you want to create a dialogue. And so you put up an event, and because of constraints, that event happens at 2 p.m. on Tuesday in a town hall. And then something that really means a lot to people is very difficult for them to engage with. And so in my practice, it was really frustrating to know that people cared about this problem, but the tools that I had to help them actually be part of the decision making and the problem solving for this problem was super lacking. And there's other things as well around civic engagement and why is it so hard for people to have their say, and why is it so hard for an organization that really wants to engage the public to do it in a more regular way. And so that's part of why I decided to work with my co-founder. I think then what's really interesting about our skill sets is that my co-founder studies group decision making online and how people behave, particularly with technology and social spaces. And so when I'm it would be great if we did this all online, he'd be able to say, oh, be careful, because sometimes just moving the same problem into a different forum doesn't work. And so what we've been the spark that drives us is thinking about how do we take that real in-person relationship building, being able to have a discussion with someone that's civil and productive, and you can, talk with emotion about what you care about, but in an online space where we don't get have to reduce everything to posting our opinion and hoping maybe that someone sees it, retweets it, or responds to us. So that's that.
Right on. Yeah. I mean, compelled by the cause is certainly a great reason to start something. And scaling that communication is some of the amazing things that technology and apps can do these days. Thank you so much for sharing. Let's go to William and tell us a little bit about how the spark for Uber Battle started.
Sure. So basically in the chat, everyone's like, what is a silent disco? So I run one of the largest silent disco companies where literally people get headphones that tune into 3 different DJs. And as you switch between the DJs, the colors change. So during the pandemic, literally no one had any work. Our DJs were struggling, and because this is their main focus, main way to make money. So well, how do we bring it online? So that's kind of where we decided to do 3 live DJs, tapping between, talking to them, doing different things like games and just being super interactive. So it literally came from we don't have a job to let's figure out how to make a job for them. And then it actually became an entirely new business, another revenue stream for us. So it's been honestly awesome, because with headphones, we have over 20,000 of them. And to get these across country in all different venues is a nightmare. But to host one Uber battle, I sit here.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And again, innovation coming out of the pandemic, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I have to say I have limited silent disco experience. 9 years ago, I walked past one at Burning Man at 3 a.m. I thought I was having a stroke, but then I saw the headphones and I'm like, oh, phew, All right, not a medical emergency, just people having a lot of fun.
Yeah, we were supposed to be at Bonnaroo today, but unfortunately, due to the hurricane, it got canceled. I had a foot of rain last night in my basement, so I have a new pool in my basement. So that's what I'm doing right after this.
Well, again, talking about making lemonade out of lemons, get that sweet pool basement going on. Well, I hope you and your neighbors and everyone staying safe out there.
Thanks.
Right on. Cool. Jason, let's go to Venue. Tell us about the Spark.
It feels like the Spark has been said again and again, but I also had a bit of a side hustle pre-pandemic. For 8 years in my evenings and weekends, I've been growing Canada's largest technology community with 50,000 members. And we used to run like more than 100 in-person events a year all across the country. And we had this huge plan for 2020 that on March 13th, we just had to shut down. But one of the things that we do as a technology community is really set the culture and set the tone for what it means to be a technologist in Canada. And so we needed to come together during the pandemic to show people how to be resilient, how to pivot, where the opportunities were, how to, maybe extend the runway and continue to take advantage of opportunities. So we had to move real quick into virtual events. And it didn't take long for me to realize that virtual events were kind of boring. They weren't interactive. They weren't inspirational. I didn't have a canvas of cool tools like I could in person to really engage people. So I started building it for myself on April 1st, 2020. By May, we were using it for the community. By September, we were bringing on our first clients, and it's really just grown from there.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. And real, good to hear, man. It's like taking care of the community. It's a startup program organizer. It's music to my ears.
Exactly.
Right on. Well, I think Merrick's back. Do we have audio for Merrick to talk about the Spark for Trulians?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we got you. All right.
Hi.
Great.
Hi. So as I mentioned in my pitch earlier, I set up a WebRTC company in 2010 that I was lucky enough to sell in 2014 to Blackboard. So I personally had a lot of experience in video communications. And when I was thinking of what to do next, I wanted to take on a problem that not many people were doing at the time. The market for digital humans seems to be expanding quite quickly now, but at the time it was quite a lonely place, and I quite liked that, the lack of competition. And I thought by taking on a difficult problem like that competition would probably be a way away if I could sort of steal a lead on the rest of the market. So that's why I thought that from a business perspective, it was good for me to leverage what I'd done in the past. I mean, I was involved in video calling on mobiles before iPhones even had cameras on them. So for me personally, I knew that was my sweet spot. And then the idea itself, I thought it's definitely got legs. I can definitely see a world in the future where digital humans play a role. So the combination of experience and where I see the world heading really was what led me to found Trulians.
Right on. Awesome, man. Well, that's a very cool story. All right. And last but not least, let's go to Alex, talk about Volta. And by the way, man, I think William's wrong. I think you can bring a little bit of rock startup tips to startups, right? All right. Let's hear about your Spark.
Well, thank you very much, Tony. Volta actually started as my final project in my master's program. My whole background is in music, both professionally and creatively. I worked for a bunch of musicians doing marketing, branding, and design, and then eventually decided to go back to school and get my master's. And you might not be able to tell by the accent, but or you'll tell by the accent, but not from where the master's is. I moved to London for the master's, so that's why we're based in London, and I went to the Royal College of Art and Imperial College London, and one of my professors was building one of the best ambisonic spatial algorithms around music that I'd heard. And together we worked on this idea for an interface for it, using VR to calibrate the positions of the objects in to use the positions of objects in VR, calibrate that to the spatializer, so that you could actually mix spatially just by moving things around in space. But eventually, that kind of shifted to being more on the performative side of music, because that's really what I was interested in. That was what my background was in. And so the idea of using mixed reality and the merits of it, the gestural nature of it, the immersivity of it, to control not just the music itself, but the whole spectacle of the event is what I was really fascinated by. And so that was the direction that we were heading in, and we were already sort of building. We were building the world in which that tool essentially inhabited to be visually captivating, so that we could broadcast around the world to 2D platforms as well as in VR. And then when COVID hit, it changed our model pretty drastically, considering that live events were no longer a feasible thing. And so we essentially flipped how Volta works. So instead of using Volta as a control surface to control music and visual software, we flipped it so it's the opposite way around. You would feed music and music metadata in. You would feed different types of 2D media in. You can feed any sort of 2D media in now. So photos, videos, camera feeds, even the way that I did all the volumetric effects earlier was just on one of the new iPhones with a LiDAR sensor. And then the artist chooses how to configure that, and it just outputs this immersive world. And so it's been an exciting ride, and the idea of mixed reality becoming an art form in its own right is really what continues to drive all of us who are working on it.
Yeah. I mean, exactly, man. It's like the again, pandemic comes in, shifts things. You have to adjust. Definitely a common theme. But thank you all for sharing your spark that led you to take the plunge. And again, seeing some common themes. Seeing opportunity arise due to external factors. Seeing an opportunity due to meeting a serendipitous colleague or a teammate that leads you down a path of even more opportunity. So it's great. Does any of the pitching startups have any advice for people that are maybe thinking about starting their own company? Anything to help maybe validate that spark? Anybody have any thoughts on that?
Do it, but prepare not to sleep.
Feel free to elaborate on that. Talk a bit about work-life balance with the startup founder, William.
I'm sorry, you said work-life balance? No, there's just work balance. So if you're going to become an entrepreneur, you definitely give a lot of things up. Family, friends, love, because you basically give every day to this. So, I'm not saying you give it up completely, but there is definitely an incredibly hard balancing act. This isn't like going to school. This isn't like going to work, because when you get even employees, now you're responsible to take care of them. They're your kids. And there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of things you think about. You always want to make it better. So no sleeping. But with all of that said, I'm making it sound really bad. When it does work out, you're super happy. Like, you go on these up and downs, but the ups are really up and the downs are like pretty stressful. Does everyone else agree?
Yeah. Any thoughts? Agrees? Anyone agree? Disagree?
No, absolutely. It is the only thing that you think of day in and day out while going to sleep, whenever you go to sleep. That's again a big cushion. But one thing that people jumping in have to look at is that there are no orange zones. So either it's a yellow or a red. So if you're jumping in full time, and you're jumping in with all your energies. So there is no middle ground in between. when you're getting into an entrepreneurship journey.
Yeah, definitely agree with that.
Yeah, I'm sorry, was that
Yeah, I was going to say I definitely agree about the there's no middle ground. I think it's important to really work on something that you care. I know that sounds really cliche, like work on something that you care about, but you want to work on something I think that you would use. I was working on like a different project before Gramophone, not kind of related to music. I'm a big music fan. I was working on like a kind of spatial map app. And one day I just thought to myself, like, I would never download this and use this myself. Like, I can see why it's a great product and why it solves a problem, but as a person, I don't think I would use this. And for me, that was like a real light bulb moment to revisit, passion projects that I've had in the past that, you might not think it's the best product, but you're really passionate about the problem. You're going to be way more motivated to be in the red space, like Rahul was talking about, if you're really kind of like passionate about the area, rather than if you're not.
Yeah, man. You have to have that passion. I think that's obvious that all of our startups have that passion, and I think we are getting kind of close to getting some results from the judges. So, wanted to go to the audience and see if anybody has any questions for any of our pitching startups, and see. But any other thoughts from anybody on potential advice for people that are thinking about taking the plunge? While we see if there's any thoughts or questions from the audience.
I can share something briefly.
Oh, thank you.
So I was asked this question recently. So I've given it a bunch of thought. When I do kind of like group facilitation and like decision making, workshopping and stuff, what I recommend is people speak from their I voice. It's a better way to be heard and to influence and to convince people if you're speaking from your own personal experience. And I think it's the same thing for an entrepreneur. Like, absolutely. I've found that, having a platform that is about real time engagement means I could potentially be in lots of different markets, I guess. But in the end, what the hardest conversation with myself and with my co-founders was, but what market do I know about? Like, what can I truly speak about and communicate the benefits of this? And so that's how we ended up working in like civic engagement. Because actually it's the space that we both come from, and it's where I can actually like speak with my I voice in the most like authentic way, I guess.
Right on. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing there. That's great. Cool. Well, I think we have one question that came in from Jonathan very common question is, how do you take the plunge and finance your startup with that financial burden of not having any stable job? Any thought?
So, Tony, can I take that up?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So as a founder, I'll say, so we founders, we entrepreneurs don't work for the instant gratification. So if we are really passionate about the problem, so we are kind of okay delaying the gratification, not getting instant rewards. And we keep our eye on that bigger aim, that bigger problem, that how things will turn out once we solve this problem. Of course, money eventually flows if you are solving the right problem, if you are impacting the society. So of course, we are dreamers. I'll say founders are dreamers. They are okay making trade-offs, not sleeping enough, maybe not buying fancy stuff for a few years. But of course, they always look at that goal that they have set for themselves. And they know once they achieve it, things will fall in place. And of course, money will be there. So that is like my 2 cents on this question, which was asked by John.
Right on. Yeah, with that passion, you can kind of tough through some financial burden. Any other thoughts? Anyone else want to add on to that?
Yes.
I'd love to add something to that, if that's okay. So as somebody who is in this position in terms of the challenge of the financial burden of having a startup. I'm still working a full-time day job while working on Blink. And, that makes it possible for me to actually work on it. I still have my income. I'm thankfully, able to fit it in on nights and weekends. I have a great support system. And so I think while Silicon Valley might look down on that, if that's the only way that you can explore your startup, it's, you should try it. Give yourself a certain amount of time and dive in because not everyone has that privilege to leave their day job. Not everyone has the intergenerational wealth or, the connections to get VC funding very quickly. And so sometimes you really do just have to hustle and give up your nights and weekends. And it's not fun, but there is that light at the end of the tunnel. Just to kind of piggyback off what Divya was saying, there's we're dreamers.
And I'd like to say I completely agree with you. So I did the exact same thing. And the reason why is I've seen a lot of people that, quit everything and they have no income. And then what happens is they don't make great decisions for marketing because they start thinking about, I need to make money versus I need to make the product better. So I see that happen a lot as well.
Right on. Well, any final thoughts on Jonathan's question? If not, I think we actually have the results. Todd, are you there? Are you there, Todd?
I can't. There we go.
Hey.
I am unmuted. I'm back.
You are back, buddy.
Yeah. And this that was a battle. That was, to put it in terms of what we're doing here, that was an Uber battle.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked that you're back so soon.
Yeah, well, I had to eventually just start cracking the whip and making some choices and demanding answers, and so which was tough to do. Wrangling startups and founders is hard, but herding the cats of VCs, I think might actually be harder. But you know what? I want to get some final thoughts before we get there. I see the Audience Choice Awards. I think we have a winner over there. We have 141 votes on the poll. With solution has taken over. I disagree with those results. I think problem is the most important thing when you're an early stage startup. But I digress. William, I'm going to bring you up just for last thoughts, words. What did you think of the pitches? What did you think of overall what you saw? And what do you think about maybe even the RTE space in the future of work, live, play?
Yeah, so thanks for having me. I really appreciate you guys all, you folks all dealing with me. It is now 1:50 a.m. And so it's been a long one. But I think that the three things. The most important thing, I believe, is that you're passionate about your ideas, because most of the companies today, there were some startups that were beyond idea, but there were a lot of ideas. And there was a chat going on earlier where people are like, well, you can fund your startup through a day job and this thing. But, piece of advice, you cannot raise money unless you're committed. You can't expect, at least in Asia, us to invest in your company if you're not willing to invest your life into your company as well. It's a classic thing: friends, family, work, exercise, and what's that thing? Oh, yeah, sleep. And pick three. But really in a startup, you pick two. I'd say the second thing is that passion in the pitching is great. But always remember your final goal. You're trying to get that meeting. You're trying to hook the next meeting. You're never going to convince anybody in a 3-minute pitch, a 4-minute pitch, a 5-minute or 6-minute pitch. And then the last thing is that VCs are, not your final goal, right? The VC money comes with strings. Lifestyle business sometimes gets a bad reputation. But I tell a lot of people, my freshman year roommate in college, who auto-assigned to me by an algorithm, was actually it's by our last names. But he had a lifestyle business and he sold to KKR for $330 million after starting out building websites and just working there for 20 years. So really, raising from a VC is not necessarily an achievement. So be true to your vision and only take VC money when it can actually add value. Thanks.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you, William. Thank you very much. Parul, we'll come over to you with your final thoughts, please.
Yeah, I think for any company, I think the danger is not the enemy, which is competition. It's time, and there are as many hours in the day. So as a founder, we have always an exciting day and competing priorities. So I think stay true to your mission and the vision, and the focus is very, very important. And in the pitch, I think the hook is very, very important. So if it is like just saying the same thing, which I said before, but I think it's important if you are solving a problem, then focus on that pain, really make them uncomfortable in their seat. That pain exists. Try to kind of show the data that you have, try to clarify that data so that it's understandable, and then demonstrate that with solution and the traction that you're getting. So that kind of excites, and having a metric, and just one metric which is progressively growing is useful to show, so that people can see that you are business oriented as well. And again, just make sure that your vision is coming across, and if it is a solution, then deliver that experience, that storytelling. Give it as just a 3-minute excitement, entertainment. Think of it as edutainment, if I may say so. So it's also education, talking about technology and your take on that unique insight that you've had. So just keep grinding, keep rolling. All the best to all of you. There've been some exciting pitches and inspiring founders. Feel free to reach out to me. I'll be happy to help and support any which ways I can.
Thank you, Parul. Thank you, Parul. Yes, of course. I think William and Parul and Kathleen are all accessible. You can hit them up on LinkedIn. You can find them on Twitter. I think one of the best things to do to start building that relationship is take something that you've learned or something really epic that they said that really resonated with you. Hit up the socials, tag them, tell your network what you learned. So pass on the knowledge, pass on the education, tag the people who let that that information slip that you captured. Great way to start building a good kind of social relationship with those people. That's just kind of like a online relationship building 101 right there. Coming over to Kathleen now. Kathleen, your final thoughts on what you saw today and the future of RTE impacting the way we work, live, and play in the future.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me. It was a privilege to hear everyone's pitch today. And I'll just say that everyone is well on their way. And so a lot of times it's just a lot of hustle and hard work. And it's a journey that will have ups and downs, and just continue to take the lessons to refine and evolve.
Excellent. All right. Thank you very much. Now, before we get to the announcements, I want to say thank you. I want to say, first of all, thank you to all the judges for being here and giving up their time. Somebody like William, where it's about 2:00 in the morning for him, and he's been on 19 hours of straight calls today. Parul coming in late at night. Kathleen giving up her whole morning. I know that they have a lot of other things going on, and I really appreciate your time. So to each of you, thank you very much. Digital golf claps for you. I want to thank everybody who pitched today, all the founders, all the hard work, putting in the time to not just submit and apply, but then to also put in the work to supply us with the information that we needed to be in touch, to be communicative, to do the tech checks and everything that we went through, all the work that you guys put in. Thank you so much. We really appreciate this. I really want to thank Innovent for this brilliant platform, for putting this on. Albert Park and Matthew Potter in the background, who are our stagehands, who are running everything. You guys, thank you so much. Brilliant job. It was seamless. It was flawless. It was amazing. So to the entire Innovate team, especially Albert and Matthew, can't thank you guys enough. I really appreciate the work that you're doing behind the scenes to keep all the cats herded. All right. And thank you very much. I want to thank my team, Blaze and Chidi and Tony for helping be a big part of this and helping run this. And for the last few months, just the hundreds of man hours that we put into this. Thank you all so much. Special shout out to my my liaison, my partner in crime here, William Dew, my colleague who just did so much heavy lifting over the last few months on helping bring this out. He has been amazing, buddy. You're my rock. Thank you so much for all your help. To the entire Agora team, everybody who participated. Can't thank you guys enough for all the support. The marketing econ team, Suzanne's team, and Virginia's team, and everybody. Thank you so much for everything that you guys did. I really, really appreciate this. And thank you to everybody in the audience for attending, coming to learn and grow. Hopefully you're inspired, hopefully you're educated, and hopefully you enjoyed the show so that you were entertained as well. So with that said, I think it is time to get to the announcements. So I think we're going to close this off. And it is still rising. Somehow we have 268 votes. But I'm going to announce that the winner is going to be Edvi app. Edvi, congratulations. Divyansh, great job. You guys will be the Audience Choice Award winner and receive the $500. So congratulations. I know that probably puts you at about a $2 per hour of work that you put into being a part of this. But, thank you very, very much. It's better than nothing. And thank you very, very much. Congratulations to you guys for that. And now to our third place winner. So today's, I don't have confetti. I should probably be using Volta for this, so I can have all kinds of stuff going on and balloons in the air. But I don't. We'll maybe factor that in for next time. But so the third place winner winning $1,500 is Venue.live. Jason, there you go, buddy. You can maybe just jump on and your quick thoughts. Congratulations on finishing third.
Yeah, thanks everybody. That's so cool. I really appreciated all the judges' feedback. Thanks for all the support to Agora to make this really awesome experience. It's super fun working together and excited to keep growing together. Thanks so much.
All right. Congrats, Jason. Thank you very, very much. Thank you very much. On to second place, winning $3,000 is Volta XR. So yeah, Alex, come on up, buddy. Just say a little something. Congratulations. It might be a little surprising because you took a lot of heat for your presentation, the way you presented. But is Alex?
Yeah, I'm here. Thank you so much. It was a bit of a surprise. I'm not going to lie. But yeah, I mean, it was an honor to be a part of this whole thing. Agora's been great to us. Our kind of our point person there, Blaze Thomas, has been amazing, and he was like, he sent this to us the second that it came out, and I'm really glad that we applied and could share what we're doing. So just thank you guys so much for the opportunity to present this and for giving us second place. That's great. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
You bet. I mean, there's a lot of factors that go into this, and backstage it would, discussions of actual investability, busyness in the space, path to success, the team, and who's behind it. Just a lot of different factors, plus just quality of presentation, confidence, preparedness, how professional was the pitch, how much do we believe that based on what we saw and how that person presented, will they be able to really lead this, to the bright future that all investors are looking for, right? So it all kind of came into that. So with just about a minute and a half left, the winner of the RTE 2021 Startup Battleground is Blink Date. Tally, come on up. Say hi.
Hi. I'm honestly shocked and truly honored and privileged. Going against everyone here, was truly impressed, and I wish, I'm just really just touched and honored and so thankful to Agora and everyone else I shared the stage with. Thank you so much. Really excited for what's on the horizon.
Yeah, you're welcome. I mean, it just showed a lot. It was a lot of hard work, and I think it's an amazing product. I think it's a unique take, and maybe you can tell us a little bit about what you're going to do with the money.
Yeah, so we're actually on the verge of launching our beta. So we'll be putting some of that money towards marketing campaigns to get that initial user base, and also working on some of the enhancements based on our initial user feedback. So super excited to have this money because we are bootstrapped at the moment. So this actually makes so much possible for us, and we're so grateful. And yeah, we are really excited to be able to keep people posted. So if anyone's interested in being kept posted, you could sign up on our website, either for our wait list or reach out to us and we can add you to our email list.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you. I'm excited. I'm happy for you. I'm excited for everybody. I was really excited for the audience. Thank you, everybody, so much for attending the rest of RTE. The RTE 2021 conference still goes on. So find a new room, stay engaged. We hope you enjoyed the show today. And thank you again for attending and being a part of this with us. Bye-bye.